All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Ramblings of a Madman podcast. I am your host, Insane Freak. If you are watching on Twitch and you don't already follow, please hit the follow button. If you want to send me some money because I'm broke and have nothing, go ahead and hit the donate button down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and comment down below. Okay, cool. All that's out of the way. So today actually, sorry, I worked all day. My brain is fried. I'm just trying to reclaim my thoughts. Okay. That song that you just heard was CR1 by the band Elders, and today's guest is guitar god, nerd, and all around great person, Jairo Munoz. How you doing today, Jairo?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here hanging out. It's Friday night.
Appreciate you coming on. Sorry about that. I had like a total brain fart, and like I've been doing this for like almost 2 months now, and literally I was just like blah 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 blah. Shit, what do I say next? I didn't mention it before, but you can curse all you want on the stream. I really don't care. YouTube doesn't
Cool.
like cursing in the first 30 seconds of the video. That's why I play the song before we start talking, so that like I don't have to. I don't know. Try to stop it. Anyways,
Worry about that. Yeah,
why don't you let the people who are here who don't know who you are know what you do and who you are?
sure. Well, like Aaron said, I'm Jairo. I play guitar in a band called Elders. We are based in South Florida, but I myself live in New York City. I've been doing this for I think 12 years now.
Oh
picked up
shit.
guitar between middle school and high school, and yeah, it's just been kind of my thing that I do for fun. And I have my little collection back there. It's short, two technically. The other one's off screen, but the other one is in South Florida because I keep a guitar down there for whenever I fly down for practices and shows and stuff.
That's a good idea instead of having to lug it and bring it on the plane.
Yeah, I just take my pedal board down. I have my amp and my guitar down there, and that's it.
Nice. So before we get into some more topics, or some wow topics, before we get into some more questions about the band and those kinds of topics, holy shit, I'm sorry. I worked 8 hours today, and I just started a new job. I like been there a week and a half, and I'm a inventory manager at a pharmacy, and this was my first like real day. Like I just been doing training, so like I was doing all this inventory. I unloaded a truck. I had 12,000 steps today. Like I was walking all
Oh,
around. So I'm just a little fried, but I promise I'll be good going through this.
all good.
So what's customary on my podcast is I like to do an icebreaker question. Like already you seem like you like to talk, but I like to do it for people who are like nervous or don't really know so they can open up and stuff. This is a meme on Facebook, and it's old news now, but I love it. It's such like an interesting question to ask people. Would you rather every time you had to get into your car
Oh
fight
my god.
one chicken, or would you rather once a year on a date known
Give me
to
the
you
monkey. Give me
fight
the
it?
monkey.
You want to fight the orangutan with the sword?
Give me the orangutan. Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's kind of like Green Knight-esque. Like I don't know if you've ever seen the Green Knight or read this
I
story.
haven't, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, like so the Green Knight, the guy shows up. He's like, if you can chop my head off, um, I'll do the same to you in a year's time or something like. I don't know. It's a pretty
Right.
good story, but yeah. A lot of people were like, oh, give me the chicken. That's easy, but like they don't think like, what if you're waking up in the morning, you're about to go to work, you're still groggy, you're like, oh man, I'm off to my job.
Maybe you're running late.
Yeah.
Like
I,
you're also in an enclosed space. Like the reason that I go for the orangutan, this is my
mm,
explanation every time. You have the entire year to get really good at swordplay.
exact. Or you just bring a gun and shoot him.
I mean, you could bring the gun. I assumed it was like a one-on-one sword v sword kind of situation here. If you can train for a year, there's no way you can't beat a monkey who's just going to probably just throw the sword at you.
Exactly. Now, what if with the chicken, like he's under your car, he comes out, he pecks your Achilles heel, you fall over, then he's pecking your eyes out, or like he's on top of the car and he's like jumping and pecking, like, and then you kill him, and then shit, I forgot my keys inside. You go back inside, get the keys, come back
Also,
out,
like,
another
is
chicken.
he destroying your car every time that you get in? Like, is
Uh,
your upholstery just like covered in chicken shit? Like,
we gotta
it's
ask
just
the
all
meme
of that
gods, I
sounds
guess.
miserable. Meanwhile, you're just like preparing yourself for this yearly epic battle against an orangutan. I'm assuming on a cliffside somewhere.
Yeah, like Highlander
So,
style.
yeah, Highlander style.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, cool. I like your answer. That's very, it's practical. Like instead of having to do it every day, it's just once a year.
Yeah, it's just a once a year errand. It's just like be right back. I gotta go fight this monkey.
Have you
Fun
seen?
fact about
Oh, go ahead.
fun
Sorry.
fact about me. I have a master's degree in neuroscience,
Oh, nice.
and I did that in a monkey lab. Not
Oh,
saying that
cool.
I've ever fought a monkey, but I do have experience. I have like 4 years of experience of handling monkeys.
That you're all set for a monkey fight.
Exactly. If anybody's ready for it, it's me.
Have you ever seen any of those memes on Facebook?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's. I knew exactly where you were going with it. Yeah.
Yep. There's one, my favorite, like there's one with the monkey and he's like, "I'll help you fight the chickens, brother." Like he's running with the sword, but I think my favorite one, it said, "The monkey, having been defeated already twice, is practicing the dark arts for our next bout." And it's like a monkey with a sword. He's like meditating like this over a book and I was just like, "Damn, that monkey's getting scary."
Yeah. The monkey's tired of losing.
So Savage Barbie in the chat said, "Yes, I love his answer. That's my pick too." And then Elderly Panda, if you have the thing pulled up, you could probably see the chat too. Elderly
Yeah.
Panda said, "I'd rather fight a monkey every time I wake up in the morning." I mean, that's no time to prepare though. Like you don't have time to train.
I mean, if you're fighting a monkey every time you wake up,
That's worse.
then like you get used to it. But also, hi Panda, I'd expect nothing less from you.
All right, cool. So now that we've got that question answered, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about elders. I recently was put on to you guys by like Pulses and with sales ahead, like Sierra told me like, oh, you got to check out elders, and I'm pretty sure like I've definitely seen you post something about it on Facebook before in the past, and I think I listened to why don't poor people just get more money? Oh, wait, is that the
Yeah, why
name of
don't
the
poor
song?
people just buy more money?
Yeah, yeah, that one, that one. That was a really cool music video. And there was another one. It was like a red, like angry face thing. Like I'm the cover, I think, unless I'm wrong. It's like really old, like a couple of years ago. But I think, hold on, I gotta look it up
So why don't poor people just buy more money is off of our first EP.
now.
Anything other than that might be from a different Elders if you're thinking about a metalcore sound.
Let me double check. Maybe I was looking at the
Unless
wrong
you,
thing.
unless you go to our Bandcamp, in
Yeah,
which
I'm on the
case,
Bandcamp right now. I definitely
all
heard
right.
Non Sequitur, and I've heard some of the songs on the Elders EP. So yeah, maybe I'm thinking of something else. But anyways, I've definitely heard you guys. And then for at least the past like month, I've listened to CR1 and Boyd George Lopez, and they're just really really good songs.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, no
they're
problem.
two of our favorite songs that or I mean, they are our two favorite songs that we've ever put out. But fun fact, those were two of five songs that we actually recorded with
Oh,
Lon
okay.
Bashiri in Tallahassee. We haven't released our favorite one yet because we're still adding some bells and whistles to that one. So that will hopefully be out sometime next year with the other three, and then I'll actually be heading down there next month to write a few more ideas and flush them out.
Nice. Yeah,
Um,
I was just gonna
yeah,
ask if there was a reason like you decided to do the split, or if like these two songs are done and definitely worth releasing, so we'll just do the split thing like that way, or.
well, so it's kind of both. So Things Amazing have been friends of ours for a long time at this point.
Mm.
Um, Yassine has been a good friend for a while. Our other guitarist, Mikey, actually introduced us because Mikey plays in another band called Florence and Normandy,
Okay.
and they were working together on some stuff. Mikey actually sang on a Things Amazing song. Um, and so we kind of ended up becoming good friends, and we had this idea for a split for a long time, and then things finally lined up. They were like, "Hey, we have these two songs. Do you guys have anything?" We're like, "Well, we just recorded these five, and these two are pretty much good to go." So the timing just like really lined up, and it was something that we'd wanted to do for a while. So it just was just perfect.
Yeah, sounds good. So I definitely want to ask about how you guys started, but someone in the chat just typed a question. Kodo Sound says, "Hyro, will you play a solo on my Santana cover?"
As
Uh,
long as it's smooth.
I was about to say only if it's smooth. Oh my god. But yeah, how did you guys get started as a band, and like how did you all come together and get to be where you are now?
So I kind of met everyone in the band at separate points in my life. Our bassist Sam is actually one of my oldest friends.
Hmm.
He is Uh, he's always been the best bassist that I've known. We went to high school together. Met him my like freshman year of high school, and he was always the one that it's just like, oh, you need somebody to play bass, just go ask Sam. And a few years later, after my metalcore, post-hardcore band broke up, I was just like, all right, well, I'm still happy to keep doing music, and I happened to run into him at a show. He wasn't doing anything, so he's just like, yeah, I'm down. So I got him on board first. Mikey, I had asked him originally to maybe try singing for the band, and then we
Mhm.
ended up kind of just jamming on guitar, and we were like, well, this already works. So that's cool. And then finally, our drummer Gabe, he wasn't supposed to be a permanent member. He is very much the typical drummer. You know, every drummer meme that it's just like if you kill the drummer, you kill like 8 bands.
Yeah.
It was very much true for him. Literally, when I asked him, he was in 7 bands.
Oh my god.
So he was just like, I'll help you write and stuff, and like we can record, but I can't really promise much more than that. And as we like really got started, I want to say like 4 of the bands kind of fell apart, and he was just like, well, I've got time now.
Well, that's cool. I really dig your guys' sound. Like, it's kind of similar to other stuff, but it's also a breath of fresh air in a way. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I definitely get what you're saying. We try to wear our influences on our sleeves. Like we're not trying to hide who like our music is influenced by, but also we're very much trying to present the kind of stuff that we grew up around. So like for example, I listened to a bunch of Trico. I used to listen to a lot of Strawberry Girls. Happiness is my favorite album of all
same,
time, arguably.
same.
Uh, I feel like all of that really comes through, but at the same time, we all grew up in South Florida. Sam's Cuban, I'm Ecuadorian, Gabe's Haitian, Mikey's our token white guy from Math Rock. And we try to put that influence in there too. My grandmother, like, she made me listen to like lots of bachata, salsa, merengue, flamenco. Gypsy Kings were a band that I loved listening to a lot growing up. So that like ambient bridge in the middle of CR1,
Yeah,
it's very inspired by that. So we always try to throw in like our influences from growing up in there as well.
it definitely feels like you've got some spice, like some sazon or something, like
Yeah,
sprinkled onto the
literally, it's
music.
literally what I try to say. It's just it's prog rock with sazonado.
Yep. That's awesome. How does the process of writing a song go from, okay, let's write a song to, damn, this shit slaps, like it's finished?
So for us, the process is basically one of us, usually me or Sam, will come in with kind of like a skeleton,
Hmm.
and we'll be like, all right, here's what we have. Just go to town on it. Like we'll send each other the files back and forth so everyone's familiar with it before we're all in the same room, because even though the rest of them are in Florida, Sam is in Orlando, which is 3 hours north of Mikey and Gabe, who live in
Hmm.
South Florida. Um, so we all familiarize ourselves with the ideas, go down there, and then really the process is Sam and Gabe like really hammer in the rhythmic aspects of it and what they want to do, because unless they're in the same room with each other, it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
Sam will have an idea for a skeleton for my part, or vice versa. And unless Gabe's in the room, it doesn't matter, because the moment they start playing with each other, they're like, fuck whatever I was doing. This is way better.
Nice, yeah.
So that's how it goes. We typically get the rhythm stuff hammered out. Mikey will usually give some sort of like cue, like, oh, what if we did this instead or that or whatever. Mikey's parts are actually usually the last stuff that we add on top, just because that's how he prefers to do it. He likes having everything else done and then try to add more like melodic lines on top of everything, almost like a singer would.
Hmm.
Um, so basically, we like kind of adjust my parts a bit, really hammer out the rhythm sections, and then it's like, okay, now we add the last like bits on top, and then once it's all together, it's just like, okay, what are other little changes that we can do to really like spice things up and really like make parts stand out. So like in Boy George Lopez, like the cutout before everything comes back in big
Yeah, I love that
on that
part.
group part. That's something that Mikey came up with, and it was just like, all right, we were playing through it. It's just like, what if here we just cut and then come back in big, and it's just like, yeah, no, that's perfect. So that's typically how our process goes. It's we start with skeleton, rhythm, all together, and then just little details to like really bring it to life.
I just want to go on record really quick and change subject for 1 second, just to say, for the sake of Twitch and YouTube, this is a cigarette. So I don't know if I'll get in trouble or anything, but this is definitely a cigarette. Anyways, so when I first started listening to you guys, I listened to CR1 a lot, like on repeat. Like, I said I've only been listening for like a month or so, and like I did hear some other stuff because I feel like someone definitely posted it. Swan posting at some point, and as toxic of a community as Swan posting is, I've been in it since Mothership, so like I've seen everything. And like I've discovered a lot of bands there, but CR1 is so great. Like it's definitely one of the favorite ones. And then I would start Boy George Lopez. I'd be like, oh, I'm not really digging this. Like, it's a little bit slower or whatever. So then I was like, no, I should finally listen to the whole thing. And then when I did, I was like, holy shit, this is definitely like really, really good.
Thanks. So just a real quick touch on Swan posting. I also used to be in Swan posting. I'm pretty sure that's
That's
actually where
probably
we
where
like
we
added
met.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think I joined Swan posting around acceptance speech.
Okay.
Maybe I've been listening to Dance Gavin Dance since Downtown Battle Mountain 2, I want to say.
I
Around
don't
then, like slightly before that dropped was when I got into them.
I don't want to be that guy, but I remember when Whatever I Say Is Royal Ocean came out on MySpace, and that was
Yeah.
when I first discovered Dance Gavin Dance.
Yeah, for me it was literally I stole a friend's iPod in high school and was just like, "Oh, Dance Gavin Dance, I've heard this name come up before." And I listened to Uneasy Hearts Weigh the Most and I told them I invented Times New Roman and I was just like, "This
Classic.
is fucking sick."
Um,
And then I was off from there.
may I quickly ask how old you are? Because I didn't think to ask
I'm
before.
26.
Oh, okay. I'm 30, so I'll be 31 next month, in like a month and 5 days. So yeah, so that
Yeah,
makes
Mikey
sense.
turns 31 at the end of the month.
Oh, nice. So I Dance Gavin Dance. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the first song I heard from them was The Robot with Human Hair Part 1, and I was instantly hooked. And then I don't like it wasn't when it just came out. It was like right before Downtown Battle Mountain, but like I discovered them on remember on MySpace bands used to be like, "Hey, like my page," like all the
Yeah.
time. I'm pretty
Yep.
sure that's what happened with Dance Gavin Dance. And then and I told them I invented Times New Roman. I heard that like a week later, and I was just like, "Holy shit! Like, this is it. This is the music I want to listen to for the rest of my life."
Right. So the reason that I got into Dance Gavin Dance was, like I said, I stole my friend's iPod, but
Mm.
uh, she knew that I was also super into the Fall of Troy. So the Fall of Troy was like my gateway band into literally everything. Heard them on Guitar Hero 3 with FCP Remix like everyone else did, but then I went home, got on LimeWire, and just downloaded anything and everything I could find. I I still remember like hearing Act One, Scene One, and the moment they started like really screaming, I was just like, "Whoa!" I was like, I want to say 12, 13 at the time.
Mhm.
So like the closest that I'd gotten in terms of that was like Linkin Park, who I also discovered through AMVs.
Yep.
um, so once I got into the Fall of Troy, then I got into Dance Gavin Dance, and at the same time I got into like Protest the Hero and
Yes. Oh
all of
my
those
god.
other bands around there at the
Fortress and
same time.
Kezia. I love Process the
Oh my
Hero
god,
so
Fortress!
much.
So Fortress and Scurrilous are my two favorite albums by
Yeah.
them.
Fortress is my favorite like song. I know it's kind of cliche, but Sequoia Throne is just such a
Sequoia Throne is so
journey
good.
through, or
Yeah,
like Blood Meat, I think it's called, right? Blood
yeah,
Meat?
Blood
Yeah,
Meat,
yeah, yeah. Blood Meat's
first
really
song on
good
the album.
too.
Yeah,
Their new stuff is pretty good too.
it's pretty good. I just for me, Rhodey has gotten to be too good of a singer in a
Mhm.
sense, in that he is now almost sounding like he's been classically trained, and I have the Dream Theater problem with him,
Yeah.
where I don't really like that style of singing. So I preferred it when it was a little rougher and not as clean.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. So for me, my journey of like getting into kind of this kind of music, like this like progressive rock or like math rock or like swancore, like all that kind of stuff. I used to be big. My first ever album was Linkin Park Live in Texas, and then
I
after
mean, that
that,
still slaps.
yeah, after that I got American Idiot by Green Day, and I was that cool kid. I was on top of the world. I listened to Fall Out Boy, and I was listening to like Panic at the Disco, and then I was when Say Anything Is a Real Boy came out. I was like, oh, this is great. And my friend was like, hey, you want to come to this concert tonight? And I was like, well, who's playing? He's like, oh. The Devil Wears Prada, Drop Dead Gorgeous, Dance Gavin Dance, and At the Throne of Judgment. And I was like, oh, I know Dance Gavin Dance. Yeah, I'll come check it out. And holy shit, that's when I got really heavy into Chiodos and Devil Wears
Yep.
Prada. And
Yep.
Devil Wears Prada, I used to have like an obsession. I think I've seen them like 17 times live in like not recently, like in small venues. This is all like with Roots Above and Branches Below and before. Like I've seen them
Right.
17 times then, and just that got me into like all like metalcore and like that kind of stuff. And then I discovered Under Oath, and and then I was really big into Dance Gavin Dance. Started branching off like a lot like Birds and all that kind. But yeah, definitely
Yeah,
like
I mean, pretty much same. So my my first band was called Drowning at the Shore.
oh
And
nice.
when we were, yeah, it's awful. I hated that name from when I joined, but I could never ever get rid of it.
It's not
Um,
that bad.
I think I still cringe pretty hard when I hear it. When I listen to the music now, I'm like, all right, for a bunch of 16-year-old kids, this isn't that bad. But it was shameless Devil Wears Prada worship.
Yeah.
Because our other guitarist was like he had like a Devil Wears Prada chest piece. He's gotten covered up since then, but like he had the logo on his chest. Um, so that was like the kind of stuff he was writing. I was always around then more into my music journey was super weird. I played violin from like the second grade to the ninth grade and would only really listen to whatever was on the radio.
Yeah.
Um, and then around I want to say seventh grade was when I got into like Guitar Hero and stuff like that, and I started kind of venturing out on my own. So I was kind of listening to like The Fall of Troy, Muse, Radiohead, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, Poison,
Pretty
like
much the Guitar Hero
classic like
soundtrack.
Megadeth, like all of those
Yeah.
bands all at the same time, but like really intensely and like super getting into them. Red Hot Chili Peppers, all of that. Um, and is Green Day classic
Yeah, I was
rock.
about to say
I
that.
we've had this conversation. Panda's a good friend of mine, and we've had this
Oh,
conversation
cool.
in the chat before. And um, I don't think Green Day is classic rock. I think
I
Green
think they're
Day
dad
is
rock now, though.
they're like early pop punk, but classic rock to me is um that like early hard rock, like Led Zeppelin,
Yeah. Black
that
Sabbath,
kind of
The
stuff.
Who, kind of
The
like,
Who, yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Which I used to be super into as well.
his Fall of Troy
Is the
classic rock.
Fallujah classic rock. So that was a legitimate question. That so Kodo Sound is another friend of mine, and they're a music teacher with School of Rock, and one of their students legitimately asked them, "Is the Fall of Troy classic rock?" Because of their age. And I have never felt more old in my life.
Right? Oh
Because
my
this
god.
was a legitimate question from a student.
That's oh my god. Yeah, so
Yeah,
my
that
daughter is 7 years old, and since she was born, like I've been jamming like pretty like Dance Gavin Dance, Devil Wears Prada, Chiodos, that kind of stuff around her, and I'm like, do you like this music? She's like, yeah, this is cool. I was like, what about the screaming? She's like, yeah, I don't mind it, but like now she'd be like, Dad, you want to hear this Miley Cyrus song? You want to hear this Taylor Swift song? I'm like, oh man, I need to show you some better music. Not saying they're
I mean,
bad, but I'm just like,
there's nothing wrong with liking pop music.
yeah.
I've said I used to be the like, oh, pop music is bad. It's all the same repetitive formulaic bullshit. They literally have formulas and this and that. It's just like, yeah, but it can still be fun. It can still be good.
Mm.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift, but I get it.
So
Um,
I don't like all of her music, but that song Blank Space, it fucking slaps. She actually said in an interview it's about Death Note because she says I've
I
got a
don't
blank
believe you.
space and I'll write your name in the
I
Death Note.
don't believe you.
That's
I
what she's. I could try to find it and send it to you after the
There's no
podcast.
way that's not satire.
I'm just saying.
I will definitely have to look into that. I am very much a huge weeb. And I'm not saying that she can't be.
But it's Taylor
I
Swift.
just, yeah, I just don't believe that.
Um,
But anime's become so mainstream that like it doesn't shock me when people are like, "Oh yeah, I love anime. It's my favorite thing." Like Michael B. Jordan convinced guests to do a whole Naruto line.
he was in the What If episode. I don't know if you're into Marvel, but he was in the What If episode as
Yeah.
Crap, what's his name in Marvel?
Killmonger.
Killmonger. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I blanked for a second. Like I said, I worked all day. Anyways, he got them because there's a scene in it where he's pulling up like a design for the armor with Tony Stark, and it's literally like a Gundam.
Yeah,
Like he had influence over that, and like Megan Thee
yeah.
Stallion's coming out and saying like, "Oh, I love anime and stuff."
Oh yeah, no, she's been doing cosplay forever.
Hmm.
Like I said, anime's become super mainstream, and I'm not the kind of person who's just like, oh god, they're posers or whatever. They're not really into anime. I'm like, no, that's fucking sick. Like, get more people
Yeah.
into anime. I'll have more people to talk to about it.
Um.
I really don't like people who are just like, no, stay away from my stuff. Like,
Yeah.
that's so
Gatekeepers.
annoying. Yeah, I hate gatekeepers and stuff like that. I just don't believe that Taylor Swift would write blank space about Death
It
Note.
makes
But that
sense.
would be
Like
hilarious.
where? What else does it mean? I've got a blank space and I'll write your name. Like how? Like do you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like if she was serious about it. Anyways, before we get into more about anime, because I definitely want to talk about that, how good were you at Guitar Hero? Because,
Oh, I was real good.
so, not to brag, but I played Guitar Hero 2 so well that I was 25 in the United States on the online leaderboards, and I got to go to California to San Francisco to play in a tournament with like 50 other people. So they flew me out. They paid for my plane ticket. They paid for my hotel. They fed me. First place got like $10,000. Second place was like 5,000. Third place was like 2,500. By like, I missed one note. Okay, I missed one fucking note, and I lost by like 300 or 400 points, and I got fourth place, and they gave me a T-shirt. Like not like $100, not like $1,000, not like oh you got fourth place. No, a fucking T-shirt. I still have it.
That sucks.
I still have it to
I
this day. It was a
can't
great
say I was that
experience.
good.
Yeah.
I will not say I was that good. I don't know if he's watching, but a friend of mine, Pete,
Mm.
who is definitely better Guitar Hero than I am, he's told me a story of when he used to work at like a video game store, and they had like a day where people could come in and they had like kiosks set up and games and like giveaways and all this stuff, stuff to bring in
Yeah.
business. And they had a contest set up that if you can beat Pete, you can have anything you want in the store. Nobody beat him. Many
Wow.
tried.
That's hilarious.
He is definitely better than I am, but I mean, I was good enough that I could like, I was on expert, like consistently five-starring songs and getting like
Nice.
96% plus, that kind of stuff. I actually
Yeah.
have my Guitar Hero controller right here.
I played so much my Guitar Hero controllers broke.
Mine is currently down a blue button. Um,
The buttons themselves actually didn't break. The strum, because there's some songs you got like strum really
yeah,
fast.
yeah,
The strumming thing, like I was playing, I want to say it was Miserloo on Guitar Hero 2, like that
yeah,
yeah, and I was
yeah.
doing it, and all of a sudden I just heard a snap, and it stopped strumming. Like the strum thing just kind of,
Yeah, I've
and I
seen
was
that
like,
happen before, and it just
no.
kind of flops there, and it's just
Yeah,
dead.
it was so
Yeah, for
sad.
me, the blue button just doesn't always trigger.
Hmm.
Um, So I know that it's an easy fix. I just don't have the hex screws to open up that specific part of it. I play Clone Hero now, which is
Yeah,
just fun because you can download all of the songs you want and just have a blast.
I used to chart songs for Clone Hero like a while back, and people would pay me like $1 a song and stuff like that.
Right.
But
Uh,
yeah, no, I got to the point like I don't know why. Like I played video games my whole life. Like I got my brother had a Super Nintendo. I think I got a PlayStation 1 when I was like 7 or 8 or something. I had a Nintendo 64. But something just clicked in me with Guitar Hero. Like I was just like, "Oh shit, like I can play an expert without looking at the screen if I just memorize the notes and think in my head." Like to this day, if I hear certain Guitar Hero songs, like if I hear Woman by Wolf Mother,
Wolf Mother.
like it's green, yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow, red,
Yep.
yellow, blue, or no, yellow, yellow, blue, orange. Like I know it. Like it's so crazy.
Yeah.
I got so good to the point of where I got bored with it and decided to learn real guitar, and that's how I started playing actual guitar.
Yeah, I mean, same. Like I said, I played violin from the second grade through the ninth grade,
Hmm.
and when I hit eighth grade, I was just like, okay, I've played enough Guitar Hero. All my friends are playing real guitar now. I want a real guitar.
Hmm.
And so my dad bought me that like Gibson Epiphone like special 102 whatever, the one that's like 150 bucks and comes with a crappy little practice amp.
Yeah.
Um so he got me that, and like I just like practiced as much as I could with that thing. And eventually they're like, okay, you're serious about this. Do you need a better one? I was just like, yeah. And so that's when they bought me the Strat that I actually keep down in Florida, which is still one
Oh,
of my
nice.
favorite guitars.
I was just gonna ask, like,
Uh,
what kind of guitars
yeah,
do
it's
you
a
play?
2007 Texas Roadhouse Strat. Um, from what I was told, and I don't know if it's 100% true, it has a
Hmm.
Mexican neck and an American body with Tex-Mex pickups in it.
Oh, cool.
It is still one of my favorite guitar necks I've ever played. It almost looks roasted, which is real nice. And I've had many people offer to buy it over the years, and I refuse.
Th-
But that guitar has not gone anywhere and will never go anywhere. It's
I
currently
have
sitting at
I
my
have
mom's
like
house.
I have a Les Paul. I have what's the one that doesn't have the frets on it? It starts with an S. Steinbrenner or something like that.
Steinberg,
Steinbrenner. Yeah,
like
I
that
have.
doesn't have the headstock.
Yeah, I have one of those, but this is the first guitar I ever got, and it's still my favorite. It's a Viper LTD 100 FM, and I don't know why, it just feels different than other guitars. Like I'm so comfortable with how all the frets feel
Sometimes
and
you just
everything.
find a guitar that is just super well made, even though it's supposed to be super cheap and super crappy,
Mm,
that you just don't ever want to let go of it. And there's a lot of people have like Squires and stuff like that. They're like, this guitar plays amazing, so I swapped out the pickups, I swapped out the electronics, the tuners, all of the hardware and stuff that like affects the sound, but like no guitar feels as nice as this does in my hands, so I won't
yeah.
ever change like the neck or anything like that.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I totally feel that. Like I'll play other guitars. Like I know how to play guitar. I haven't been playing for like the last year or two, and like I definitely want to get back into it because I'll sit down. I used to be able to play The Devil Wears Prada, Dear Love, A Beautiful Discord, every song front to back in like one sitting. Like I just knew it. And now like I'll go and I'll try to remember how to play something. I'll be like, damn, I have to look up the tabs. Like is did I really
Yeah,
forget? But
yeah.
yeah, no, it's definitely just something different about this guitar for me. Like, it's just because it's what I learned how to play it on, so it's just super comfortable.
Right. Yeah, no, I used to. So let's see. The guitars that I've had over the year are that Epiphone that I told you about,
Hmm.
that Fender Roadhouse Strat. After that, I was using an Ibanez ART 100 or something like that. It was like the Ibanez version of a Les Paul, but with EMGs in it. So I was using that when I was playing in that metalcore band in Drop B.
Oh
I
shit.
was I was like, I'm not tuning my Strat to drop B.
Yeah.
So they were just like, well, one of my bandmates was just like, well, I have this guitar lying around. If you get it set up, you can just use it. And I was like, all right, that works. So that's what he gave me, and I used that forever. After that, when the other guitarist quit, uh, I ended up becoming the main songwriter. We went more like a proggy post-hardcore direction because I was listening to like a lot like Birds, Every Time I Die, The Fall of Troy, so on and so forth.
Rest
So I
in
was
peace,
doing
a lot
that
like
kind of stuff,
birds.
and I was playing my Strat, and then I was also using an SG for some of the heavier songs and tuning down to drop D or whatever. Um, so that SG was pretty good, but it was never my favorite. I don't like baseball necks, even though the
Hmm.
Strat that I have right now is pretty heavy. After that, I kind of just I actually no, I bought a Fender 72 thin line Telecaster that I really liked how it played, but I didn't like the pickups. And the thing with guitars like that is that it's a specific kind of a wide range humbucker, and those are like $250 each to replace, which was
Yeah.
$500 for a set, which was the cost of the guitar.
Hmm.
So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So I sold that and then bought the telly that I have back there in the corner
Oh,
for
nice.
$400, which is like a Franken telly that has like everything souped up. It's like and the body's even American. The neck is the only part that's Mexican, and it was a steal for $400 on Reverb. After that, I got this GNL Fallout, which is the I don't know if you can really
Yeah, I
see
can see
it.
it.
Yeah, it's the blue guitar that's back there. So
Oh,
that has a
nice.
humbucker and a P90. And then after that, I got this guy, which has been my main guitar at home, which is Nash S57 Strat, and this is the most expensive guitar that I've had, and it is by far my favorite one. So that's been my go-to for everything, and that's
Stratocasters
where
are
I'm at
definitely
in guitar
different.
world. And then I also have a bass that I got there super super cheap for like 150 bucks from GNL.
Um, do you feel like because you play guitar you can play bass, or do you feel like it's just a different thing? Because I've never really played bass before, and I always wanted to.
I think that if you play guitar, you can play bass, but that doesn't mean you're going to play bass well.
Okay, that makes sense.
You need to understand the differences in what a guitar does and what a bass does to really be able to say that you can play both. Because
Okay.
anybody can pick up a bass and just like strum away at single notes, but if you don't understand where the bass is supposed to sit and what its purpose is in the band, then you're not playing bass well.
And then extra points if you can play slap bass.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
who would you say is your favorite guitarist of all time? Or if you can't think of one, like, do you have a top three? For me, I
So
would definitely say Buckethead.
Buckethead was I used to love Buckethead when I was growing up. I was super super into all of the shredders. Like I liked Buckethead. Guthrie Govan is still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Marty Friedman, when he used to be in Megadeth, Rest in Peace, is still one of my favorite albums. But for me, I would definitely say top three are Thomas Arak from The Fall of Troy,
Yep.
um, Zach Guerin,
Okay. Yeah.
uh, because of the stuff with Dance Gavin Dance and Strawberry Girls. And then the third one is a little harder, but I'd have to go with Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead.
Okay. Yeah. Those are respectable
Because
choices.
yeah, so for each of them, like I have my like set reasons. Like the Fall of Troy was like the first band that got me into like all of this like crazy kind of technical guitar work that wasn't necessarily just like shreddy guitar solos. Um, Zach Guerin was the one who like bridged the gap between that and kind of like the funkier stuff that I'd like
Yeah.
listened to growing up. And then Johnny Greenwood was because him and Thomas Eric both got me super into effects pedals and into soundscapes and like really doing more with the guitar than the guitar itself is capable of.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
So for me it's those three for sure.
I would say so. I don't know. I've just always been obsessed with Buckethead. I dressed as Buckethead for Halloween one year. I also there was like a coffee house at some like club, and I went and did Buckethead covers and dressed as Buckethead and just played as him one time. Um, oh my God, I don't think I can answer. Never mind. I was gonna say that's really hard. There's so many good guitarists now. Like
There are like even with you saying that like he's not necessarily my favorite guitarist anymore, but like my first favorite guitarist and one of the reasons that I picked up guitar was Slash.
yeah, absolutely. Just the way he can make the guitar. Like I just appreciate musicians who can make it sound more than like just like it's not a song. It's like telling a
Yeah.
story through the music.
Yeah, and for me, Slash was just like fun,
Mm.
and that's honestly something that's stuck with my playing a lot. Is that his riffs are usually just a lot of fun, and there's like some kind of like groove behind it. Like I'll still listen to Guns N' Roses every now and then.
Did you
And
know
one of my
Buckethead
favorite
was
songs by
actually in
them.
Guns N' Roses? I'm sorry to cut you
Yeah,
off.
I did. He was
Yeah,
in. He was when they
Chinese
did Chinese
Democracy.
Democracy. Yeah,
Yep.
that album is absolutely garbage.
Yeah, it's not his fault though.
No, it's not. It's not at all. I think he has like maybe. I think there's been like 6 or 7 guitarists that played in that band when that album was being recorded. I think he has
Yeah.
maybe 2 or 3 parts that actually stayed. Um,
Oh, did you know he wrote the Mortal Kombat theme song?
I did. Yes,
Yeah. I thought
I
that
know
was a
that there
cool
were
fun
also
fact.
rumors that he wrote the Power Rangers theme song, but I don't think he actually did. I
He
think he
plays
just
it
used to play it
live,
live.
but yeah, I
Right.
don't know if he actually wrote it.
Right. Um, he also almost joined Ozzy Osbourne's band.
Yep, I did hear
And
about
then
that.
Ozzy was just like, "You're too fucking weird for me. Get out of here. Go call your mom or something."
Yeah.
Um,
So I know you mentioned a lot of them already, but like for let's say just for elders in general, like what are your biggest influences music wise besides like the Fall of Troy?
sure. So, Trico is one
I
of our
love
biggest
them.
influences. Sam and me,
Yeah.
we listen to them a lot. Um, Gabe loves jazz and metal and prog metal. So all his like some of his biggest influences are like Robert Glasper, Metallica, Opeth, Between the Buried and Me. The same deal with Mikey. Mikey has been on such an insane Between the Buried and Me kick for like the last like 6 years, I want to say.
Mm.
Like he was into them before, and then just something in his brain snapped, and he was just like, "Nah, this is the best band of all time." um, so he's super into that. He's also been into a band from Chicago that I actually got him into called Snooze.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of them.
I
They're
have not.
super super
I'll
good.
check them out though.
So like we listen to a lot of different stuff in terms of that kind of stuff, but overall, like together, our big influences are like early Dance Gavin Dance, like Happiness era. Sam's big influences were like Red Hot Chili Peppers and that kind of stuff. Mars Volta, definitely
I love me
that
some
kind of
Mars
style,
Volta.
and then like, and so I Watch Her from Afar is a big one for me.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Good
And
choices.
I feel like all of that is relatively obvious.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Sam used to play so many Red Hot Chili Pepper songs. His big two in high school, I remember, Red Hot Chili Peppers and Iron Maiden.
Yeah. Well, John Frusciante. That's how you say his name, right?
Yeah.
The guitar. Yeah.
Well, I think it's technically Frusciante, but everyone says Frusciante.
He's such a great guitarist, like in his
Yeah.
own. He's been in a lot of different stuff besides Red Hot Chili Peppers too.
I mean, he played on Francis the Mute by the Mars
Yeah,
Volta.
exactly. That's what I was just about to say. I love the Mars Volta. I
Me too.
discovered them a little later than everyone else, but like D Louse in the Comatorium is such an amazing album, like front to back,
I'm
just
glad
the
you
whole.
mentioned that one because I have it right here.
Yeah, there you go. Like
Yeah.
that just got me. That got me so into them, and I really like the Bedlam and Goliath because it's a great album. But the story behind the album, how like it's kind of cursed. Like they were trying to record it, and like they had a flood. They lost half of the
Right. Yeah.
tracks, and like all this. Like there's a whole documentary about it. But it's really crazy to think they had to go through that just to get that album out.
Yeah. It was a lot. I definitely remember hearing all of that stuff about it. I don't remember. Did DeAnthony Parks drum on that one, or was that still Thomas Pridgeon?
I think it was still Thomas, but I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've researched Mars Volta.
Right.
I heard they're
Yeah,
writing new
I
music.
remember that after. I'm pretty sure it was after that one that Thomas Pridgeon quit or
Yeah,
got kicked out or both.
because
Him
the
and him and
the
Cedric hated each
other guy
other.
was on Octa. Oh, what the hell? How do you say it? Octavarium or whatever it's called, right?
That's Dream Theater.
No, not Octa. So what's the name of the one that comes after Bedlam and Goliath? Is it
I know which one you're talking about. I
Nocturnum or
always forget
something
the
like that?
name.
It starts with an N or an
Nocturnica?
O. Yeah, yeah,
Nocturnica.
Nocturnicate.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I don't know why I said Octavarium.
Nocturnum is arguably one of the better Dream Theater albums.
Yeah, that's the one with hold on, that's the
Panic
one with the
Attack.
balls on the cover, right?
Yeah,
And oh, I haven't listened to Dream Theater. What's the one? The one everybody knows.
Panic
What's
Attack.
what? Panic Attack. Yeah, not there's another one though. Another one on that album.
I don't know.
Maybe?
Panic Attack is the one that I know.
Okay. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I am so dead from work. I'm sorry if I'm like duh, I
You're
don't know.
good.
Anyways, besides like, like the influences, like what kind of music do you just listen to like recently, like when you're just trying to listen to music?
I mean, I listen to a good amount of everything. I hate that answer normally, but like um lately, like just today alone, I was listening to like the new Silk Sonic album, which is
Oh yeah,
so
that
good.
just came out today, right?
Yeah, that came out today. It's amazing. I was listening to that. I was listening to the new Gold Necklace album, the Kurt Travis, Brandon
Oh, I still
Ewing,
have to
and
listen to
Joe
that.
Farrington. Absolutely incredible. The new Delta Sleep album, really good. Every Time I Die is one of my favorite bands.
Yep, their new album's
Um,
so
it's
fucking good. Oh
so
my
good.
God.
It's so good. So I listen to a lot of heavy stuff. So like, three of my favorite albums this year are Ultra Pop by The Armed,
Mhm.
Radical by Every Time I Die, and then the new Frontierer album.
Okay, yeah, all good
Um,
choices.
so those are three albums that I listen to a lot. But then like some of my other favorite artists are like Hiatus Coyote. I listen to like Tyler the Creator's new album, Call
Yeah,
Me If You Get Lost, is one of my
it's so
favorites this
good.
year.
I feel
It's
like
really good.
not to interject, but I feel like Call Me When You Get Lost is kind of like a sketch show in itself of an album because each song feels like a different story or like sketch in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Well, so it's one story
Yeah,
overall.
but it
The
feels
whole
like
thing is yeah.
each thing is like a scene,
Yeah,
kind
no, each
of.
thing is definitely a scene in that story, and he very much he had DJ Drama come in so that he could have those like old school ad libs in there.
Yeah.
Um, so I love that album especially because I grew up with a lot of like that kind of like '90s hip hop and early 2000s hip hop because my uncles are both DJs, so they showed me a lot of that music too growing up. Um, So yeah, a lot of that has stuck with me. And then like I'm just looking at my record collection. Like I have Radiohead here, Panic at the Disco, Oathbreaker, Flying Lotus, The Fall of Troy. Muse is another big one that I used to listen to a
Is it
lot.
A Fever You Can't Sweat Out? Is that your?
I have Fever You Can't Sweat Out, Pretty Odd, and Death of a Bachelor. Those are
Okay,
my three albums that I listen to by them.
nice.
Um, yeah, I have my nice little collection here. But yeah, no, I try to listen to as much stuff as I can. What I don't listen to a lot of is country music, but
Same.
even at that, like I feel like I need to listen to it more because I fucking love Orville Peck.
Hmm.
And his album was another one that I listened to a lot when it came out. So I definitely feel like I need to give like alt country a bit more of a try because I love that album.
I don't know. I can't really get into country too much because I feel like it's just singing with an accent. But at the same time, I love me some Fallout Radio, and like a lot of those songs are definitely country, like Fallout New
Yeah,
Vegas
they're like that
especially.
old school like outlaw country.
Yeah, and like those are jams. Like anytime that's playing, I will definitely like turn it up and listen to it.
Right. Yeah, and I
Um,
feel like that's the thing with like almost any genre you can think of. There's almost definitely a form that most people will enjoy. But yeah, I mean I will say a lot of my music, if it's not like super chill, it tends to go super on the chaotic mathcore kind of side.
mhm.
So like the Dillinger Escape Plan is one of my all-time favorite bands. Like I said, Every Time I Die, um, all of that kind of like super wonky balls to the wall stuff, and like screamo, like Loma Prieta. Been listening to there was this band like in 2005 called Gospel that I listened to
I've
their
heard of
album
them.
a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, so I listened to their album a lot. Um, yeah, no, I just kind of tend to bounce all over the place. I've also been, and anybody who's listened to me for more than 5 minutes will hear me talk about Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
That album for the last 2 years straight has just like dominated. At least once a week, I'll listen to it like 2 or 3 times. Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dan
Yes,
just said
I
this isn't League of
my
Legends.
avatar shirt. Yeah. Yeah, no, songs in the key of life. Like, I get it why everyone is just like, this is a desert island album because it has literally everything you could ever want on it. It has your ballads, it has your prog rock on it. Like, Contusion is just straight
Hmm.
up like a prog shredder. It has your pop songs, has your all like your Latin stuff. Like it has pretty much everything you could want on an album, and it's just one that I keep going back to and like dissecting so much.
For me, I feel like the older I get, the more I can appreciate different genres of music because
Yeah.
like I was in a band called I Can See My House from Here. We never really went
Mhm.
anywhere. There was a whole like the drummer had a drug problem thing, so we kind of stopped. But like back then it was like we got to be metalcore. We got to do this. We got to be Underoath. We got to be Devil Wears Prada. And then like as I branched out, I'm like, holy shit, like there's some really good pop music out there. Jazz is awesome. Like for me, recently, so just before the podcast, while I was setting everything up and like going on Facebook and like just doing whatever, I was definitely listening to Ballads One by Joji. I think that's such
I
an
love that
amazing
album
album.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just I don't know, it hits different. Like it puts you in your
No, it does.
feels.
No,
I was
I love when that album came out. I was definitely obsessed with that. I remember very much that album came out at the same time as "You Won't Get What You Want" by Daughters,
yep.
which are two entirely different albums. But I just kept like jumping back and forth between the two.
Yeah. Last night I'm like a huge brand new fan, but I haven't listened to them in a long time. But last night I was jamming out to Science Fiction. Like that's such a good record. I am so much in love with the new See You Space Cowboy album. I don't know if you've heard of See You Space Cowboy.
Yeah, no, of course.
It's called The
I
Romance
like
of
their earlier
Affliction or
stuff.
something.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like their earlier stuff. I kind of fell off when they went a little more straightforward, like early 2000s metalcore revival.
Mhm.
That's when they kind of lost me just because I've kind of grown out of that.
Yeah, I feel
It's
that. I feel like it's
um
super nostalgic though in a way.
yeah, yeah, and I get that. But for me, like I definitely like their earlier stuff because I still like listen to like the Blood Brothers a lot and that
Oh
kind of
my
stuff.
god. My favorite Blood
Um,
Brothers song, Elephant. Oh, what the fuck? No, Vulture. No, what is it called? It's like dun 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 dun. You know what I'm talking about? I don't remember.
Vaguely.
I don't fucking remember. It's the one where there's like
My
something with vulture wings or elephant something with vulture. I can't remember. I
Sure.
I don't know. I love the Blood
Their names
Brothers.
are all, yeah. My favorite
Yeah,
one is Camouflage off Young Machetes.
yeah, that's a good one.
Young Machetes is it's an unpopular opinion, but it is my favorite Blood Brothers album by far.
Nice. I've also been jamming recently a lot. There's this band called like I've listened to them before, but there's this band called Orchards. They're like
Yeah,
UK
Yep,
pop math rock.
Mikey, Sam, and I listen to them a lot. Gabe actually really doesn't like them because they're a little too like he says they're too saccharine and too like bubblegum sweet for him.
I like that though.
So
But their new album comes out in like 6 days, 7 days, like a
yeah,
week. Yeah, I'm so excited for that. Um, I really am in love with 100 Gex. It's like I want to say it's a guilty pleasure thing, but also like I know all the words to like all of their songs, even all the ones they don't have on albums and stuff. Like I discovered them maybe a year and a half ago, and I was just like, holy shit, this is different. This reminds me of Naruto FMVs with like hyper pop and stuff. Like oh,
yeah.
or not hyper pop,
I
Nightcore.
couldn't get into them. It isn't my thing. I get it. I'm buddies with Adam from Sauce,
Yeah,
and I know he played guitar
he was
on
on Hand
one of
Crushed
the
by a Mallet.
remixes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, funny
Um,
story about that. He did covers of their songs on his YouTube on guitar,
yeah.
and they reached out to him off of his covers and were like, "Will you come on
Yeah.
and play for the remix album?" He was just like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, now he's super into like playing on hyperpop albums and stuff. He
Mm.
just had two songs drop with Angelus
Yeah, I heard them. They're really
like
good.
2 weeks ago or something like that. So he's fucking killing it with that scene and good for him.
I'm trying to get him to come on the podcast, but he's like super fucking busy lately. So like
Yeah.
used to talk to him all the time on Facebook, but he hasn't seen my messages. I'm not trying to throw shade or anything. I'm just saying
He
like
just doesn't
good
use
for
Facebook
him.
anymore.
Good for him for like being busy and in the scene and doing so much and stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's not just music stuff though. Like he also has like a super busy day job and stuff like that. But he's also
Yeah.
just not on Facebook anymore really.
I feel like a lot of
So,
people aren't.
yeah.
I'm old. So I'm resistant to change, I guess. Like I just made a Twitter for the first time ever like 2 days ago.
Twitter's fun. It can definitely turn into a dumpster fire super quick though.
I literally haven't
Yeah.
posted anything. I just use it to reach out to people to get them to come on the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, Twitter's a good platform. I personally use it a lot more nowadays. But it can also be a lot.
Yeah. So let's talk about some anime because I'm loving
Yeah.
the Avatar: Last Airbender shirt. Obviously, like you're a huge fan. Like, have you seen all the episodes and everything?
Yeah, no, I've watched Avatar at least 2 or 3 times. I watched Korra twice. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite episode, and why is it the library episode? Oh, that's just my favorite. But do you have a
The
favorite
library
episode?
episode is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But honestly, my favorite episode, which is part of the library stuff, is this one.
Yeah, with the
Like,
cactus juice.
yeah, it is just genuinely one of my favorite episodes. I can watch that episode over and over again and not get tired of it.
I think the craziest part about Avatar was it was on freaking Nickelodeon. Like it's not
Yeah,
it could have been like its own kind of anime thing on its own, but like Nickelodeon was like, "Yeah, we got this show and here it is." And everybody, I don't know. It's such an amazing story like through the storytelling and they go through like real life situations and stuff in their
right.
own way, but so it's relatable. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, no, Avatar was definitely ahead of its time in terms of like really pushing the envelope on like just because it's for kids doesn't mean it needs to be like just saccharine and just like obnoxiously like kitty all the time and not everything has to be happy and good at all times. It can actually be like meaningful and impactful and still like be appropriate for literally all ages.
We were talking about this a little bit before the podcast, but it's the same for Adventure Time. Like
Yeah.
when it came out, it's a Cartoon Network show. It looks like it's all happy and rainbows, and oh, it's a guy and his dog, and they're going on adventure. But like Adventure
Lore
Show
gets
is
real dark.
deep. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so dark, and the
Yeah.
lore is just crazy. Like the Lich and
Yeah.
what's Marceline's dad name?
The Nightosphere. Wow, I'm blanking on his name, but yeah,
Yeah,
from the Nightosphere.
it's like a really like not like it sounds like a proper name, you know what I mean? Like it starts
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
I don't know.
I
But yeah,
blanked on
like
his name.
just the whole thing of like they go to hell. Like the Nightosphere is pretty
Yeah.
much hell and like or the thing Finn loses an arm and he has to like learn to struggle with that and I don't know,
Right.
just it's crazy where shows have gone and like how they're like I don't know if you ever watch regular show.
Yeah,
but that's one
I
of my
didn't watch it as much
favorites.
as Adventure Time, but
Mhm.
I've definitely watched a good chunk of it.
Regular show starts with like go trim the hedges or go mow the lawn and ends with like we have to
Yeah.
fight the party god or the devil
Yep.
himself is coming to stop us because we didn't want to set up the chairs and like I just think it's
Yep.
crazy they could do stuff like that. Or, have you ever seen Steven Universe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that too. Like it's like teaching you life lessons, but it's also fun and like, kind of kiddish in a way, but it's also like gets dark and you're just like, holy shit. Like that there's an episode of Steven Universe where Steven learns he can do the magic so he makes all the cats in his fingers and then
Yeah, I think I've seen
eventually
that episode.
yeah, like all the cats are growing out of his back and stuff and it just got really dark really quick, but it's such an amazing like art form shows and like the ability to show people stuff. But what other animes do you like? I know like Avatar and Adventure aren't really anime, but like what kind of animes do you think you really enjoy?
So, you can't really see it, but above my record player and everything, I have a picture of Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yes, I love Yu Yu
That is
Hakusho.
my all-time favorite anime, bar none.
Urameshi.
Yeah. Uh, that is by far my favorite.
Okay.
Um, Assassination Classroom was another one that I loved a lot.
I
I
haven't
still
finished it
like I
yet.
watch a lot of anime, so stuff that I'm like currently watching that I've been really enjoying is like there's this one called Blue Period that's going on right now that it's about a student who has no real direction in his life. Is just kind of coasting through school and gets really into art.
Okay. That sounds pretty
And so it's
cool.
like a coming of age story that is about him like pursuing his newfound dream to become an artist and just like working his ass off to catch up to where everyone else is because he's so late to the game.
Yeah.
Um, and then like Demon Slayer, obviously, Jujutsu Kaisen is one of my favorites right now. I'm
I haven't
super
seen
stoked
either
for
of those
Jujutsu
yet.
Kaisen Zero to come out.
I need to watch
Or,
them. I'm
yeah,
behind.
oh, it's so good. It's just think Naruto but better.
Yeah, so my mom is like she's not like conservative, but she's like conservative. Like when I was growing up, she wouldn't let me watch Fairly Odd Parents because they said shut up and she didn't want me to start saying that to people. So, she's kind of strict, but she went with my
My mom was the
brother to
same way
see
with Ed, Ed
the
and Eddie.
yeah, yeah. She went with my brother to see Mugen Train, the Demon Slayer
Yeah,
movie,
yeah,
and
the
she
Demon
was
Slayer
like,
movie.
"That was a good movie," and I was like, "You actually liked it?" Like, okay, now I have to watch Demon Slayer.
Oh, Demon Slayer is amazing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
still
no,
haven't
would
seen
highly,
it.
highly recommend it.
Right
Um,
now I'm stuck on I just saw the My Hero Academia movie in theaters 2 weeks ago.
I
That
haven't
was
seen
really
any of
good.
the movies, but I'm caught up on the anime.
I'm on the festival arc where they just played the band part in the festival and
Right.
like Ari, the little horn girl, was like, "Oh, I love it." Like, I don't know, I'm having a hard time getting past it, but I just need to sit down and actually watch it. But I feel like
Yeah,
this
that
part
part's
is
a little
boring.
fillery, but then it gets better. But then I will say there is like a school training arc that I'm like, I don't really care. There was some other more interesting plot stuff going on that you kind of dropped for this.
Mm.
Can we get back to that? And then they get back to it, and it's just like, holy shit, this is super hype.
Yeah, I definitely want to finish that. I haven't finished Attack on Titan yet, but the direction they went with Attack on Titan is like utterly insane. Like
I
you
don't like it.
really, you don't like the
There,
new
so
one, or you don't like any of it?
So I watched season one and I read the manga up until the first or second time that Eren gets rescued.
Okay.
And then I kind of dropped it because I was a little bored by the politics stuff. But I'm
Mm.
since then I've gotten super into politics,
Um,
and I have a lot of issues with how imperialistic Attack on Titan has gotten. There's a reason that there's Republicans making videos based on Attack on Titan where they're killing
okay.
AOC and that kind of stuff. The author is a noted like lover of imperialist Japanese history and that kind of stuff, and it
Do you
leaves
know the
a
big
real
twist
real
though?
bad taste in my mouth. Sorry, what?
Do you know the big twist though of Attack
Oh
on
yeah, I
Titan?
do. I know everything that happens. I know the twist. The twist is like the one of the worst parts in my opinion because then
Really?
it's like, oh, all of these Titans that had like all of these exaggerated like big nose features and everything, they're an analog for Jewish people.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like the World War. No, I was saying, yeah, like the thing, like how you think it's the like gonna be the like an end of the world scenario where Titans are coming, and then you realize they're just an island in the whole world, and they don't know
Yeah,
about the outside world. Yeah,
right.
I thought it was
Yeah,
kind of interesting, but to
it's
each their own.
interesting. It's just handled really ham-fistedly, especially with that stuff. That like that knowledge that I have of like how he views history.
Okay,
Um,
I get it.
that
I see
aside,
where you're
I
coming
know
from.
how everything ends, and like all of that aside, I think the ending is garbage.
How about let's talk about
um,
another anime? Do you like Full Metal
yeah,
Alchemist at all?
I love Brotherhood.
Yeah, I was gonna say Brotherhood is way better than the original, hands
Yeah,
down.
yeah, I remember watching the original Adult Swim and being like, "This is okay," and then I watched Brotherhood, and I was just like, "That was amazing." And I
Yeah.
think that I've watched that one at least 3 times, and that one still holds up.
One of my all-time favorite animes, which I think the manga is better, but it's its own thing. They're both great in their own regards. Is Fooly Cooly.
I
The
loved
manga
season 1 of
is
Fooly
two
Cooly. I never
books.
watched the other 2 seasons, though.
Yeah, no, don't worry about the other scenes. You don't need to know anything about them. They have nothing to do
I've
with
heard.
it. They're just like kind of continuations, but not really. But like the original 6 episodes are great, and the manga is 2 books. And the like, I'm not gonna. It's not a spoiler, but literally the end of the manga is this. All this shit happens. There's this big thing, and then it just pans for like 2 or 3 pages, and it's just cats everywhere, and some lady going, "Oh, hello," and like that's how it ends. And it's just like. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure book where like it's up to
Right,
you to decide the ending, but kind of like
right.
Neon Genesis Evangelion, like that's all over
Well,
the
that was
place
another one that I
too.
was gonna bring up. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen our merch, but
Yeah, I've
like,
seen all of
yeah.
every episode and every movie. It's just that one you gotta like be in the right mindset to sit down and try to understand it.
Well, so that's what I loved about 3.0 plus 1.0 was that it really, really ties everything together and gives everyone the ending that like
Yeah.
they really needed. I loved the ending of that.
Did you see? I don't remember. Well, I don't know. You've probably seen them all, but there's one of the movies where at one point it mixes between like there's some live action stuff going on, and there, yeah, like I just thought that was a cool concept to try to integrate into the movie itself.
Right. Yeah, Evangelion is one of my favorites. Like I said, if you haven't seen our merch, like we have the Nerve logo,
Hmm.
except with elders on it.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen
That's
that.
kind of become our logo as of late. Um, please don't sue us. Yeah.
So the guy in the chat, Stasis Zombie, that's my friend Dan. We've been really good friends for like a long time. Like we had a period where we fought, but we're good now. But anyways, he sat me down one night. I used to go over his house and we would play League of Legends and I would just sleep over. We would sometimes get drunk or whatever. And he was like, "You gotta watch this movie. It's called Red Line." And I was like, "All right, I'll give it a go." And it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, like standalone anime movies. Like it's not a series. It's not a. I don't know if there's a manga, but it's literally one movie. It's kind of like futuristic race, but it's not too futuristic, but just the aesthetic and the way it's drawn is like captivating and completely like amazing. Like I would highly suggest to anybody to watch it. It's called Red Line, like Redline. It's like redlining is when like the car goes too fast or something like that or
Yeah,
something. But it's an amazing movie. I definitely recommend to check it
I'll
out.
definitely check that out. Yeah, no, I've been watching a good amount of anime movies as well. The my wife and I both watch a lot of anime, and the one that we watched recently, which isn't standalone, but we watched the movie sequel to Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai,
I've heard of that.
which,
Yeah,
despite the name, is not any sort of like ecchi harem hentai whatever like
it's not
sexual
fan
bullshit.
service.
It's not fan service. It's genuinely an incredible emotional anime. And the movie absolutely destroyed us. It was so
Did
good.
you ever see Your Lie in April?
No, that's another one that. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Yes, yes, we have seen Your Lie in
It's
April. The one that
sad.
I was thinking that I haven't seen is Your Name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the second one, right? Or is that are they not
No, it's a
related?
separate thing.
Okay.
Monogatari Life. That's
Oh my
another one
God,
that
yeah,
I've been meaning to.
Monogatari. I forgot
I
about that.
watched the first episode and I was like, okay, I'll come back to this, and then just never did.
Yeah, so Dan Sasami, that's him. Him and my other friend Liam are trying to get me into watch. Like, there's so many different like stories for Monogatari, like all the
Yeah,
different
Monogatari,
seasons.
Pocket Monogatari,
Yeah,
Neko
and
Monogatari.
like there's an order you can watch them in, or you can watch them in release order, but like they all connect, and it's just
Yeah,
I feel like I need a lot of free time to be able to truly enjoy it. But I've seen the 3 movies and then the first season of Monogatari. That
gotcha.
one's really good. Are you into any of the Studio Ghibli movies? And if
hmm
so, do you have a favorite?
Um,
For me, it's so Studio Ghibli did a Lupin the Third movie. it's called the Castle of Castrigliano or something like
Yeah.
that. And that one is, I think, just the art style and the way that it's already like its own thing, but then they did it. I feel like they made it that much better, and that one would be my favorite. That or Totoro or Kiki's Delivery Service.
Um, it might be Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind for me.
Funny story about that. The other day I was playing League of Legends and I heard some music playing in the background and I was like, is someone watching an anime? And they're like, oh yeah, my wife's watching something. And then I heard like the first couple of chords. I was like, is that Nausicaa Valley of the Wind? They were like, holy shit, how the fuck did you know that? I was like, I don't even know how I knew that. I just heard it and I remembered.
Sometimes you just recognize the music like that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely a really good one. Have you seen Grave of the Fireflies?
I have not. There's
That
a
one's
few Studio
really
Ghibli
sad.
movies that I still haven't watched.
Yeah. But yeah, Studio Ghibli movies are great. I think the first one I ever saw was Kiki's Delivery Service at a friend's house on like VHS, but then I saw Spirited Away and
Yeah, Spirited Away was my first.
yeah, that one's a really good one. Are you into any other movies or shows besides anime?
Yeah, so Kaylee and my wife and I literally just finished watching Shang-Chi right before hopping on here,
Oh, I haven't
so
seen it
we're
yet. It's
super
on Disney
it's
Plus now,
so
right?
good. Yeah, it
Yeah.
literally just came out today on Disney Plus, so
It's
that's
the
why we
only
watched it.
Marvel movie I haven't seen yet.
I haven't now the only other one that I haven't watched is Black Widow because I did see Eternals already.
Yeah, I
Um,
illegally watched Eternals on my phone. So the day Eternals was supposed to come out, I have a website where like they have DVD rips or they have like someone in the theater filming it. And I was like, oh, Eternals comes out at midnight. I'm going to go on this website and pull it up. And then someone in France recorded it and it's all in English with French subtitles. So I was like, oh, I watched it like I think it was like 9 p.m. I started watching it the night it came out in America at midnight. So I was like, I'm going to watch this before everyone else. And it was a really good movie. I don't get
yeah,
why it got so much hate.
I me neither. I
I think,
genuinely I do not understand how people could ever rank it lower than Iron Man 2, 3, or Thor 2.
oh yeah, I was saying
Those three
Thor the
movies
Dark World,
are
I think is the worst Marvel movie. I'm huge into Marvel, but that's the
I
worst
think
one.
Iron Man 2 is still the worst. Iron Man
Okay.
3 a close second, and then Thor 2. Those three are by far like the bottom of the barrel for me when it comes to Marvel movies.
Do you know the story about why Iron Man 2 is so bad? The
Vaguely.
director, what's his name? John Favreau, right? That's his
John
name?
Favreau, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he wanted it to be a certain movie a certain way, and then he got so much hate from the studio changing it so much that it became a movie that everybody hated because of the studio's hand in trying to
Right.
change things. So he's
Right. I
upset about
vaguely
it.
remember that.
He has a movie called Chef where he's like a
Yeah.
chef. Yeah, yeah, that's the whole idea of Chef is his time during making Iron Man 2. Because you know how in Chef he is like, oh, the food critic's coming, I'm gonna make it my menu and I'm gonna
Yeah.
make it certain. And then the manager comes in, he's like, no, you have to do what we've always done. That's a metaphor for Iron Man 2. Like he
I
wants
didn't
to make
even
it a
realize
certain way.
that.
Yeah, I watched this documentary about it.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's super interesting. I had not put those two together because I haven't seen that documentary.
But
Yeah, no, I'm also super into Marvel. Always have been. Spider-Man has been one
I,
of my
I
favorite superheroes forever.
I was just about to say Spider-Man is my favorite. I have this.
Amazing. Yeah.
It's like wood, and I have to hang
Yeah.
up all these posters and stuff. But no, I my favorite superhero out of every superhero I ever created it is Zombie Spider-Man in the Marvel Zombies, the Robert
Yeah.
Kirk run, because
Yep.
he has the hunger, so he's a zombie, but he struggles internally with the oh, I killed Aunt May and Mary Jane, but I'm hungry and I need to eat them, but I love them and they're my family, but I'm
Yep.
hungry and I have to eat. You know what I mean? Like that whole
Yeah.
internal struggle. It's just I felt like I don't know. There's times when you're just like, damn, I know I shouldn't do this because it's wrong, but it feels good to. You know what I mean?
So are you excited that they announced Marvel Zombies as a show?
Yes, and they said it's more gonna be off of the Robert
The
Kirk.
comic?
Yeah, the comics than the What If, because What If did a good job, but it wasn't the best
It
job.
wasn't. Yeah, no, it wasn't.
But
That was probably one of my least favorite What If episodes. Um, but I still enjoyed it. I liked What If a lot.
yeah, I like
It
the
was
Doctor
starting to
Strange
lose me
one.
with like when it was just like, okay, every episode has to have like a twist negative ending, and I'm like, I really, really hope that they're building up to something with this. And then they did. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. We're all good now.
I think the worst part of What If though is how easily Vision killed Thanos because I feel like that was a little bit of a just okay, here we go, boom. Like it wasn't. I don't know. I felt like it was just we need to get the story going. Let's just do this to shock people. You know, it was it. I don't know. Thanos had five Infinity. No, how many Infinity Stones are there? Five or six? There's six, right? Six Infinity Stones. Mind
But
power. Yeah, five, five, five. So he had four of the five, and I feel like everybody tried to fight him in like Infinity War and Endgame, and it was such a hard thing. Whereas in What If, Vision's just like bzz, you're cut in half, you're dead. And I don't, I get it. Like it's cool, but I feel like it was just a cop out of okay, this is how Vision is gonna get the Infinity Stones. Although I really liked the Ultra Vision whole like concept of that and how he can transcend realities and I love all the multiverse stories. Like I'm really excited for
same.
Kang the Conqueror. Like
Yeah.
I've been a
Oh
huge
my
fan.
god. The actor who's playing Kang was so good in Loki.
Yeah. Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
Have you seen Lovecraft Country? That's the
I
other
haven't.
thing.
No, I know he's in it,
It's
but I haven't seen it.
really really good. Like if you were to ever like if you need a show to watch, I know like you've got other stuff, but Lovecraft Country is definitely one of my favorite shows. Like I think it's the best show that came out last year.
Good to know. I heard a lot of mixed things about it towards the end.
Mm,
But it was definitely something that was interesting to me. And the other one that I've been meaning to watch on the topic of superheroes and shows is Watchmen. I never saw
yeah.
the HBO version of Watchmen.
It's really good. So the movie steers away from the comics. I don't know if you ever read the
Yeah,
comics, but the show is what happens after the comics.
right.
So the show is not like what happens after the movie. It's
That's
more
what
tied
happened. Yeah, I
directly to
know.
the comics. And yeah, I watched it. It's really good. It's interesting, and the ending sets up for another season of it, which I think they're
Uh,
going to go forward with. But it's really it's really good.
the other one that's in that vein that I really really liked was The Boys.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
I
it's
saw
that's so good.
the thing with the baby in the hospital where they're using the laser-eyed baby to like kill people. I saw some of
Uh,
that, but I haven't really like sat down. I don't have Amazon. I mean, I have the website where I can go and watch it, but I need to watch that.
I would highly recommend that. That and Invincible are both
I
absolutely
love
worth your time.
Invincible so much.
Yeah.
When that came out, I was telling literally everyone I knew, like every 4,000 people on my friends list on Facebook. I was like, "Hey, you need to go watch Invincible right now. It's so good. It's so amazing. It's emotional." And they're like, "What is it?" I'm like, "Well, it starts off as a knockoff Justice League, but then it's just at the end of the first episode, it's something else, and you're just like, holy shit!" And people be like, "All right, I guess I'll check it out." And then like an hour later, they're like, "What the fuck did you just get me into? Holy shit! What the
Yeah.
fuck just happened?" And I'm like, "Yes,
Yeah.
exactly." Oh my
That
god.
was exactly how I was too. I was just like, okay, it's a superhero. Holy shit, it's not just a superhero.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, that was another one that I really really enjoyed. But yeah, no, I'm super into all of that. Yeah, I mean, pretty much my time when I'm not working is like working on new music, be it for elders. I'm doing this mathcore project with my friend Kodo Sound, who was in here earlier, Kevin. Um, doing my own like kind of solo stuff, I guess. It's just like more chill than elders, that kind of stuff. But it's all just for fun. And then just hanging out, playing video games,
I
and
was just
watching
about to
stuff.
ask. That's a perfect segue to the next question.
There you
Do you
go.
play video games, and if so, what do you like to play, and what were some of your most influential games growing up?
So, what I like to play is a lot of story-driven games, and I play a lot of Smash.
Okay. Yep.
My friends and I play a lot of Smash.
Who do you
Panda, who was in
mean?
here earlier, he
Oh
is
wait,
another one who
like
plays
Smash Ultimate or like Melee?
Ultimate.
Okay.
Yeah, Ultimate. Yeah, I
Uh,
was never a melee person.
gotcha. Yeah, I felt like I
Um,
was really bad at Melee, but I love it, but I'm so bad at it. Um,
I was never good at melee.
My brother mains Pac-Man, and I just don't get how, but he's so good with Pac-Man. Like, there'll be times when I beat him when he plays other characters, but every time he gets mad that I'm beating him with other characters, he'll be like, "No, we're playing Pac-Man," and I've just never beaten his Pac-Man before.
I'm a
Um,
Ganondorf main.
really? Okay, that's interesting. I'm a Wario main.
Okay.
I really like the whole thing with the bike and other. Also, I really like Lucas a lot. Lucas is really really
So
good.
I play at this point. I play Ganondorf and Terry mostly are my two mains.
Okay, I haven't played
Um,
with Terry, Sephiroth, or Sora yet. I don't own a Switch.
gotcha.
I just play when I go see my brother.
Right.
But
Yeah. I play a lot with my friends. I have all the DLC and everything. I play a lot of Ganondorf and Terry, and then I also play a lot of Kazuya, Pyramithra. Um, who else that I'm blanking on right now?
yeah, I was gonna say
Terry,
Pyramithra seemed
Kazuya,
kind of busted.
Pyramithra.
Min Min's pretty good.
I hate Min Min
Yeah,
so much. I
I
hate
like the
Min Min with
range.
passion. Min Min and Ness are my two least favorite characters in Smash in general, and Lucas too, honestly.
I
Mostly to play
love
against online because people are just miserable with the PK fire spam and with Lucas the PK freeze.
So when I play Lucas, I love to dash forward and do the up smash where you like do ha and you get him up in the air,
Yeah,
and then from there, if you do up tilt and then you can, if they land, you can grab them, or if they don't land and they're still in the air, you can PK fire into grab and so many combos. But yeah, I don't know. I've been playing Lucas since Brawl and just he's one of my like guilty pleasures. Like I shouldn't freeze people. I shouldn't spam PK
it's
fire, but
fine as long as you're not spamming it. That's just what
yeah.
gets me is the people who just like to camp and spam PK fire and then
Mhm.
just run in for the back throw.
Yeah,
Like that's the
definitely.
worst to me.
What are some of your most like influential games growing up, or like some games that like if you were to play it again, it gives you like super nostalgia?
Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Easy.
Nice.
That's the first big one. Spider-Man PS1, Spider-Man 2
Yeah.
PS2. Two of my favorite games ever. Um, what else?
I so
Metroid Fusion.
for Spider-Man, the PS1 and PS2 ones, I love the fact that you could like get the different costumes and like you could like just go around the city and like it felt so not linear but like open world, but it wasn't open world, but they make you feel like it is in a way, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And oh my God, that's bringing me back. I remember so Spider-Man's always been my favorite superhero. Like I guess when I
same.
was really young, I really liked Batman, but then I discovered Spider-Man after. I was like, "Oh, this guy's cooler." But I remember when you can unlock Spider-Man and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I want to say three, but it
Three.
might have been
Yeah.
yeah. And I was just like, holy shit! Like I'm Spider-Man, and
Yep.
I'm a huge Tony Hawk Pro Skater fan. Like that's one of my nostalgia games. My favorite one
Same.
was American Wasteland or Underground.
Underground was probably my favorite.
I somehow
Um,
had two copies of Underground, and I don't ever remember getting a second one. But I
right.
was alpha. I don't know. I'm weird. I used to alphabetize my CDs and games when I was bored, and I was just like, how the fuck do I have two copies of Tony Hawk's Underground?
Yeah. The one that I ended up with multiple copies of somehow was Super Mario Sunshine, and I have no idea how.
Yeah, like it just appeared out of nowhere. I'm like, all right, well, I
Yeah.
guess this is a thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, my influential games for sure were well, obviously like Guitar Hero and Rock Band were two
yeah.
just massively influential in every single facet of my life at this point, which is wild to think about. Um, because I wouldn't have met half the people that I know. I probably wouldn't have even married my wife if I hadn't gotten into that because
Oh
that's how
wow.
I got into similar social circles and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, other than that, it's been like I love Metroid. Like I just recently beat Super Metroid again. I played Metroid Dread, absolutely loved it. Beat Metroid Fusion again for like the third time before that. Um, Metroid Zero Mission I also beat shortly before that
Do you like
again.
Metroid Prime?
Metroid Prime is the one that I've spent the least time with.
Yeah,
But I am
I feel
planning on
that.
getting the Switch remaster whenever it comes out, which is apparently
If
done so relatively soon.
oh, okay, cool. I didn't know they announced
Yeah.
that.
It hasn't been properly announced. It's just been like one of those like rumors. It's just like, oh, the first game is done being remastered. They're going to release that first on the Switch, and then the other two will be on their way out shortly as well. So that'll be something. I'm definitely planning on replaying that. I did play all of them originally on the GameCube, but I did not go back to them like I did the others.
I remember for me, I used to like back growing up in the 90s and stuff and like yeah, I guess the early 2000s. It wasn't all like social media like you can stay connected with your friends that way. It was like let me call up Joey and see what he's doing and ride my bike down to his house, or let me spend the night at
Right.
this person's house. And that's where I discovered a lot of video games. But I went to this, there's this one kid, he was like, he moved in the middle of the school year from like Nebraska or something. Like he didn't know anybody, but I saw that he had a Pokemon lunchbox, and I was like, "Oh, I have a Pokemon lunchbox. Like, you're a cool guy. Let's hang out." Blah blah blah. So I went to his house, and he was like, "You want to play this game, Super Metroid?" And I was like, "I've never heard of that before. Like, let's try it out." And then I was just like, "Oh my god! Like, this is so crazy." Because I was a
Yeah.
big Mega Man person back in the day,
Right. Oh
and
yeah.
I feel like Metroid is similar. It's not the same,
Yeah.
but it's definitely very similar to Mega Man. And I was
Yeah,
just
and the
like, "This is so
platforming and
cool."
shooting aspects and everything like that. My first
Mhm.
Mega Man game was Mega Man X5.
Yeah, I had X4, X5, and X6.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
Castlevania.
it's Castlevania. I mean, yeah, I also liked Castlevania a lot. I played Symphony of the Night recently, Ario of Sorrow, the one that comes after that, Dawn of something, Dawn of Radiance. No,
Do
that's
you remember the
Fire Emblem.
3D Castlevania game that was really, really terrible?
No, I've only ever played the
Oh,
2D ones.
it was on GameCube. It was bad. I thought
Metroid is
they're
not a
called, aren't they called Metroidvania?
Metroidvanias. Yeah,
Yeah.
your
Did you
friend
ever
is
play
just
Beautiful Joe?
yeah, I
I
love. I was
loved
just
it.
talking about that literally earlier today. I
Yeah.
loved Beautiful Joe so much growing up.
So still to this day, I've not beaten Beautiful Joe 2. I'm on the final boss, like the other looking Beautiful Joe where he's purple. I don't remember his name. It's been so long. But then you get past the first phase and he turns white, and I still cannot to this day beat it. I don't know why. It's been like my gaming crux. Like there's a lot of games that I can't beat, so I'll put down and come back later and eventually beat it. But it's been like a good 8, 10 years, and I still have not beat Beautiful Joe 2, and I'm very upset about it.
I remember beating Beautiful Joe 1, 2, and the one for the DS,
Oh yeah, I
whose
remember that
name
one.
I've completely forgotten.
I
And then
don't
there
know
was
what it's
also Red
called.
Hot Rumble for
Mm.
the PSP. Um, I loved Beautiful Joe growing up. That was one of my favorite games for sure. Um, the other ones that let's see, what else did I really like? Well, more modern games that I've like hold in super high regard are like once again, just because I have it right here, Persona
Oh,
5.
Persona 5. So,
Um,
a lot of times when I start my streams when I'm not doing a podcast, I like to play some music while I'm like setting everything up. I will play Persona 4 and Persona 5 music like religiously each stream.
yeah, I
Shin
haven't played
Megami
Persona
Tensei,
4
like
yet.
Shin Megami Tensei or Shin Megami 5? I don't know what it's called.
Shin Megami Tensei 5 came out today. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't gotten it yet, but I definitely plan on it.
I played 1 and 2. I did not play 3 or 4. Which is the one? Shin
Um,
Megami Tensei Nocturne? That one? That was my favorite one, I think. Of those.
that was
Was that
3, I
3?
want to
Okay, so
say.
I played 2 and 3 then, and not 1 or.
Um,
For
yeah, I
me?
definitely want to play SMT 5. I haven't played any of the other ones. Um, and then the other two that I want to mention are Nier Automata.
Yep, good game.
That is one of my all-time favorite games at this
2B.
point. Yeah, yeah. Nier Automata is one of those games that I'm just like, wow. Afterwards, it just sat with me for so long. Um, there was a third one that I'm completely blanking on now, but yeah, I mean, I do play a fair amount of games. The most recent games that I've been playing are I started Hollow Knight again because I wanted another Metroidvania to play after having beaten Super Metroid and Metroid Dread. Um, I've realized that I don't really like big sprawling RPG style like The Witcher 3 I couldn't
Mhm.
finish. Skyrim couldn't finish it. Which I also just don't like Bethesda
I
games,
have a
but that's
hot take. Skyrim is not that good. Not as good as
Skyrim is
everybody
not
says it
that
is.
good.
I think Morrowind is better. Or
I just don't
even
like
Oblivion.
I may just not like games like that, but I also didn't like Fallout 4, which to be fair, everyone tells me is the worst mainline Fallout game.
New Vegas is the best one,
I've
100%.
heard that a lot, and I'll play it eventually. But I've realized like after playing like The Witcher 3, which everyone says is amazing,
I haven't played it yet.
and now I started to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Um, and it's the same deal. I just like there's just so much to do that I'm just like
Overwhelmed?
I just want a good story.
Okay, yeah,
Like
I
I
feel
don't want to
that.
be overwhelmed by all of this. I just want a good story, which is why I love Nier Automata so much.
That
Like
makes
that
sense.
story to me is like it's one of my favorites. It's Evangelion in a video game.
um,
um, so that's one of the games that's more modern that I hold in super super high regard.
some of my standout games, like it's definitely Guitar Hero 2, Guitar Hero 3, Rock Band, all that stuff, Mega Man, some of the ones I said, but I think Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is completely
That's the only one I
revolutionary.
haven't played.
Yeah, so Snake Eater had a camouflage system. It had when you hurt yourself, you get broken bones and you have to mend
Right.
them. You have to eat food. There's like certain things to get through boss fights. You can skip an entire boss fight if you're quick enough with a sniper rifle. One of the bosses, his name is
Yeah.
The End. He's a sniper. He gets wheeled out on a wheelchair during. It's not a cutscene, but it's like it's happening and you're watching it like while you're hiding. If you shoot him there, you don't have to fight him. Like I thought that was revolutionary at the time. Like to be able to skip stuff and just like all the different things. I don't know. Metal Gear Solid 4 was really good. 1 and 2 were
I like
great.
four. I
Um,
loved two. Two I
yeah,
played when I was much much younger.
same.
Um, Also, yeah, you could save your game right before you fight him, wait a day, and then he dies of
Yeah,
old
I
age.
remember
Yeah.
that. I did remember
Yeah,
that.
two I played when I was much younger, and I vividly remember like I didn't own it, I rented it from Blockbuster,
Mm-hmm.
um, just to age us. Uh, and I have a younger brother, and he'd be like, "Can I play?" And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. You're gonna die immediately. You're gonna lose my progress. You can sit there and watch me play." And my mom would have to like kick me off. She'd be like, "You have to play a game with your brother, or you can't play anymore." It's just like, okay, fine, we can play FIFA or something. And then when he'd go to bed, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go back to Metal Gear
I
now.
remember before, like, this is like I was a lot younger, before Twitch and YouTube were even like a thing, like conceived or anything. I would put in a blank cassette or a blank video like VHS tape and I would record myself playing Metal Gear Solid 2 so that I could go back and watch it and see what I did wrong and so I could show my friends like look what I did. I flipped over this guy, kicked him in the head and then shot him with a grenade launcher. Like I don't know why I did that. I guess I was always born to be a streamer, but like I just remember I would use the same tape to record like Linkin Park Faint off of Fuse or like any different music videos I watched on
Right.
Fuse. So it would be like some Fuse music videos, half of a commercial because I didn't time it right to cut it off, and then like Metal Gear Solid gameplay.
What's the first
But
music video you remember, like watching?
um, Somewhere I Belong by Linkin Park with all the Gundams,
Yep.
or I think before that I saw a No Doubt music video. Maybe those are like the earliest like ones I can. No, no, no. My first music video I ever saw, I was like 10 years old. My dad showed me Fastball the Way. It's like a really really old band, and then that song Torn, like da 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 da. I'm a lot of things. You know what I'm talking about? I don't
Yeah.
remember her name. Yeah, yeah. Those are the
Natalie
first two
Imbruglia.
music videos I ever saw.
The two music videos that stand out to me for some reason, um, that I remember just very vividly seeing on VH1, three actually, because no, four. There's
Yeah.
four that I remember that were all on rotation at the same time, and I don't know why I have them all lumped in like one day. Is Make Damn Sure by Taking Back Sunday, The
Okay.
Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. Um, I forget the name of the song, but it's by Beyonce and it features Bun B. The ooh da 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 da
Yeah, I
da
know what
da
you're
da
talking about. I
da
don't know
da.
what it's
Yeah,
called either, but
Work Upon It, I think.
yeah.
And then Bad Day by Daniel Powder. All four of them are just like lumped
Holy
together
shit.
in my brain.
That takes me back. Um,
Yeah,
I talk about this a lot on my podcast, but I feel like nostalgia is such a prevalent thing in our society nowadays because we're going through so many struggles, like the
yeah,
whole we don't make enough money to live, and like based on previous generations how they could just have just the husband work a 9 to 5 job and oh you can afford a house, you can go on vacation, you can do all this, and like the whole even like the whole COVID thing and like how like we're all becoming, I guess, worse as a society in a way thanks to technology because everyone's throwing their opinions out there and stuff. I feel like everybody just likes to go back to a simpler time and remember the good old days. Because like I certainly remember going outside to play and going to a friend's house and not having a phone and just like going on the house phone. Hey, can I come over? Okay, cool. I'll be right there and just leave. You know what I mean? I don't know.
right.
I don't know where I was going with that. I'm a little drunk. I apologize. Speaking of that,
All good.
hold up. Before we talk about alcohol, I have a couple more questions. Then you can ask questions.
Well,
Then chat can
it's
ask questions.
done
Then we're
now,
good.
but
Um, my prevalent games that I wanted to finish were right now I'm playing The Binding of Isaac Repentance. It's like
hmm
hands down one of my favorite games. It's so much fun. I've only been playing it since April. That's when the Repentance DLC came out, but like the fact that it's not the same every time, it's completely randomized and it's just such a cool concept. I
my
love
favorite
League of
game like that is
Legends.
Hades.
Hades, yeah, I played Hades. Hades is fun. Um I love League of Legends. I've been playing for almost 12 years, and I know that's kind of cringy, but I went to Madison Square Garden to see the World Championship semifinals live, and I paid like hundreds of dollars to go to see it. But I don't have any shame. Like, so the biggest person in League of Legends, his name is Faker. Like, he's widely regarded as like the best League of Legends player, and I was literally like, I could throw a piece of paper and hit the back of his head. Like, that's how close to him I was, and like
Wow.
I also really like Fallout New Vegas, and Dark Souls 3 is great. I love Dark Souls games. They're hard, but it's rewarding. And I like hard and rewarding games because it's like you're going to get frustrated with dying a lot, but then once you finally do it, it's that sense of accomplishment.
Right.
Um, and then my latest obsession is this game called Super Auto Pets. It's an auto battler. It's literally like you can get a chicken or a puppy or like a beetle, and like each pet kind of does different things. So you have a certain amount of gold each turn. You have a shop where it gives you pets and food, and you place your pets. You can have 5 pets in a row, and certain pets will do certain things to buff the other pets, or you can buy food, and it kind of you hit okay when you're ready, and then someone else like your squad comes in, and then someone else's squad come in, and they have attack and health, so it's super simplified. It's like, all right, I have 5 attack, you have 4 attack, but I have 6 health and you have 3 health. So I kill you, and then they just psh, and then next, I don't know. I'm not explaining it very well, but it's a very quick game. Like one game, like game of Super Auto Pets can be like 15 minutes, and it's just it's free. You don't have to pay money unless you want to, but even then, like you just get a couple of extra pets, and it's such a cool concept, like auto battlers, and I don't know, I love it. I'm rambling, but yeah.
Yeah, I've never been into games like that too much. It reminds me that specifically, I played Xenoblade Chronicles for like 4 hours and was just like, I don't like this because
Yeah.
it's like the just took out like the best parts of a hack and slash, which is like the feeling of like stringing together combos and stuff like that, like Devil May Cry 5 or Devil
Mm.
May Cry in general. Uh, and
Ooh.
it's just like the turn-based elements of like RPGs, but without the like satisfying like, all right, I'm gonna do this thing and watch them like deal maximum damage because you still have to like move them around and stuff, and it's just I didn't like that battle system at all.
Yeah, so auto pets is different. It's not like you move them around; you just
Yeah, yeah,
place
no,
them,
I get what
and
you're
it.
saying.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. 'Cause it's kind of like XCOM and like those kind of games where like you still
Sort of. It,
move.
it wasn't like a
I never
tactical
played
strategy
Xenoblade, so
game
I
like
don't know.
that. Those are almost like similar to like Fire Emblem to an extent, where
Or
you're
like
like
Final
moving.
Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, where you're
Okay,
literally
I played
moving
that a lot.
people around and then making them damage other people on the board. Xenoblade was literally like an open world JRPG where you're running around, but rather than it being turn based in encounters, it's just like on autopilot where you just enter commands while moving
Oh,
around.
that doesn't sound so good. And like I've heard a lot of things
No.
about it. Like, isn't Shulk in Smash Bros. From
Yeah,
Xenoblade?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's from Xenoblade, as are Pyra and Mithra.
I just never
But it,
played it.
it wasn't for me. Like a lot of people say really good things about it, but it wasn't for me. That said, I love games like Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Kingdom Hearts was one of my favorite game series growing up. Even though Kingdom Hearts 3 is a steaming pile of shit.
So that's I've played every single Kingdom Hearts game except for 3, and I was waiting to play 3, and I was so excited to play it, and then everybody told me it was bad, so I just haven't played it, and I kind of am I don't regret it at all. Like I'm kind of glad I haven't played it because I don't want to experience like having all the hype for it to come out and then just be like, "Aw." Um,
Yeah, it's not good.
what one last thing about video games I wanted to ask is, have you ever played Dynasty Warriors? Oh, I cut out.
Sorry, what was that
Yeah,
again?
yeah, I cut out. Have you ever played Dynasty Warriors?
So I never played one of the mainline games, but I've played like Hyrule Warriors, and I've been meaning to
Yeah.
play Persona Strikers.
Do you like that kind of game? Like
Yeah,
hack and
I don't
slash?
mind it. It's not like my favorite kind of game. I think when it's a little more hack and slashy, I prefer like Devil May Cry style, where it's like a little more
Yeah,
combo oriented and less like just
clear
battle
out the
like 100
enemies.
enemies at once.
Yeah, I get it. But I don't know. I just remember I was super into Dynasty Warriors. I had this TV, it was a TV VCR combo. It was like this big. I would carry it around to my friend's house with my PS2 Slim, and I'd be like, "We're gonna play Dynasty Warriors today," and I would just put it on the floor and set it up and be like, "This is," and they'd be like, "This is so repetitive. I'm just pressing the same buttons over and over." I'm like, "That's the cool part. You can kill everybody with the same." I don't know. I was just
Yeah.
really weird as a kid. All right, so let's go away from video games. I have like one more kind of question, and then you could ask me questions, and we'll let chat ask questions. Then we can wrap up here because we've been talking for like an hour and 40 minutes. But
Yeah.
let's go into alcohol. I know you had an old fashioned tonight, and I love old fashioned. But what do you like to drink? And like what do you have like a favorite drink?
Yeah, so I have my whole bar out in my living room.
Oh, cool.
That I have stocked full of a bunch of gins mostly, but I do like my go-to when I just want to like have a quick drink is the old fashioned, usually with rye. I used to do oh my god, why am I blanking on it? Um it's like one of Rittenhouse. I used to
Okay,
do Rittenhouse rye. I've stopped doing Rittenhouse because I try to be aware of everything that's going on in terms of like labor and worker struggles and that kind of stuff. And they had basically a strike with Heaven's Hill
yeah, I heard about that.
distilleries. Yeah, so that Rittenhouse is Rittenhouse. I think it's Evan Williams and Angel's Envy
Mhm.
are all made at Heaven's Hill, and so they refused to negotiate with the union, and I believe they just fired everyone and brought in new workers.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
So I'm just staying away from that. So the last one that I bought was Sazerac, which has been good.
I've never heard of that.
Um, Sazerac's a good rye. Other than that, I for like bourbon, I usually do like Knob Creek. That's my go-to. Which
Ooh,
my two go-to drinks, just because they're easy, are the old fashioned and then the cold fashioned, which is basically it's literally one part whiskey, one part Mr. Black coffee liqueur, and then a few dashes of bitters.
that sounds
Um,
kind of weird, but I would try
Yo, it's
it.
delicious. Mr. Black and all my friends make fun of me because they're like, you should just get sponsored by them already. Because I just, whenever anybody asks me, like, oh, what kind of drink do you do? I'm like, oh, something with Mr. Black because it's just, it's such a good. I love the taste of coffee, even though I don't drink it every day.
Yeah,
Um, so Mr. Black's coffee liqueur is by far my favorite liqueur to mix things with, and that's just like the easiest thing you can just whip up real quick without having to bust out the shaker and cut
yeah,
citrus and all of that. I also really, really like rum. So one of my favorite go-to drinks to just build in the glass is like 2 ounces of rum, an ounce of Aperol, a few dashes of bitters, and then top with pineapple juice.
that sounds amazing.
It's all that's always really, really good. And then if you really want to like make it a little fancier, you toss all that in the shaker first and like get it nice and aerated so that it has like a nice foam and it's a little thicker and it's real nice. But even if you build it in the glass, it's really good. Gin and tonics obviously are super easy. Like I said, I
Do you
have
like
like
Bombay?
5 different kinds
Bombay
of.
Sapphire?
I so the gin that I use normally is Tanqueray.
Oh, Tanqueray's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I normally use Tanqueray, but then I also have like there's this company out of Chicago called Leatherby
Okay.
that they do seasonal varieties of gin, and each one every year is a little. Hey, I love gin.
To each their-
Gin
gin tastes like pine needles, but in a good way. That's what
in a
I feel
good way,
like.
but also like so that's what I'm getting at with these seasonal varieties is that they have like different variations on them. There's one that they just came out with that was well not the most recent one. The most recent one I actually don't like at all, which is
Okay.
kind of a bummer because that one tastes like actually very similarly it tastes like a Christmas tree but in the worst way. Like it just tastes like you just took a bite out of a pine
Ugh.
cone and
Yeah.
it's a lot.
What's
Um
have you heard of
but the
Buckley's?
one
I'm
I
sorry.
have not heard of
She's yeah,
Buckley's.
I don't she's from Canada, so maybe it's a Canadian
Gotcha.
thing, but I've never heard of them. Anyways, go
Maybe.
ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but then the one they came out with for the summer is like
Oh,
oh, it's like
cough
cough syrup.
syrup.
um, No, the one that came out in the summer was like a grapefruit varietal, and it's very like citrus forward, so it works really well. That even if you just mix it with
Yeah,
tonic, it tastes like a
I love
cocktail already.
grapefruit forward like
Yeah,
alcohols.
yeah. So this one isn't like piney at all. It's very citrusy and very citrus forward with what it presents. Um,
Nice.
and so it almost just tastes like you built a cocktail, even though you're literally just adding tonic water. Uh, Also, maybe you're just having bad gin because gin can be real good as long as you're not doing the British thing where they just straight up drink pints
Oh,
of gin.
so I had this one friend who every time he came over to my house, we would have a couple beers. He would bring over like, not like bad beers. Like he would get some IPAs sometimes or like some like kind of higher shelf things. But every time he would come over on a Friday, for whatever reason, he would call it Beefeater Friday, and he would bring a bottle of Beefeater. And he was like a bigger guy, so like he could handle his alcohol really well. But he drank an entire pint of Beefeater to himself, and I'm just like,
Christ.
I feel like Beefeater's the worst. Like it's not the worst, but it's not that good of a gin.
I mean, Beefeater's fine. So my first experience with gin, and that turned me off from it for a bit until I had like decent gin and then good gin,
Mm.
was Seagram's.
Ugh, I've had that. It's
Yeah,
nasty. I did
yeah.
one shot and never
Seagram's was
again.
like, yeah, no, we each like made ourselves a drink because we were super broke and we were like, well, this is a lot of alcohol for a little bit of money. We each had a drink. We were like, that was abhorrent. We are never doing that again.
Have you ever had Barton's vodka? That's because that's what that Seagram's remind. Like Seagram's
No,
gin. So Barton's is like the plastic bottle. It's like nine
yeah,
dollars for like a big thing, and like, uh, so for me, I will drink any kind of alcohol, whether it's a beer, a seltzer, a tea, a spirit, except for tequila. For some reason, my body rejects tequila. Like I've told this story before, but literally the first time I ever tried tequila, I took a shot. It went down. I could feel it going down. My body said
and then you
that's
could
not
feel it
right,
come right back
and then it
up.
just comes right back up. Not as puke, but as like it was in my mouth and I spit it out. And it's happened to me twice and I just can't do tequila. But if I could only drink one alcohol for the rest of my life, I would pick Rumpelmint's 100 proof peppermint schnapps. I don't know what it is. I love mint, and it's not like other peppermint schnapps taste like syrup. Like they're super syrupy and they're just like gross.
Yeah,
This is kind of like drinking a mouthful. It's not mouthwashy because it's better than mouthwash. It's like a mouthful of mint water, and then you get the burn going down. And I don't know what it is, but I cannot get enough of this stuff. It is my all time. I know you're gonna judge me, but it is so fucking
that hurts
good.
me a little bit. I've got to say, so my favorite alcohols, so in general, my go-tos are like, I love overproof rum, so Smith and Cross is one of
Yeah, I
my
was gonna say
favorite.
Smith and Cross is really really good.
Yeah, that's easily my favorite overproof rum. I do like rums a good amount. Whiskey, like I said, I tend to go for ryes. I don't really have that much experience with them, so I tend to just go with what I've heard of and isn't like going to bankrupt me.
Okay, yep, I feel that.
Sazerac was like right in that range, and I've heard good things about it, and it is really good. It works really well with an old fashioned. Knob Creek has always treated me well. I've tried a bunch, and that one's just like right in the good price range and good taste category. Um, Gin, like I said, Tanqueray is the big one that we go for. Tequila, we usually go Espolon. I don't have any issues with any kind
I
of
can't.
alcohol,
I
thankfully. Whiskey has
can't.
betrayed me more than a few times, and I still am fine with it, thankfully. So I don't
Lucky
have
you.
that experience. Beer, I do drink a good amount of. Like I'll buy like a 4 pack of like nice beer once a week.
They have
So
a
I'll do
Magic
like,
Hat Grapefruit IPA, and
yeah,
I'm not a
Magic Hat's
big
pretty good.
IPA guy, but it's really really good. Like I love grapefruit, like grapefruit juice or
Right.
flavored grapefruit, but the Magic Hat Grapefruit IPA it just hits different.
For me, I do like IPAs a good amount. Stouts are my favorites though, but there's a brewery out here called Other Half.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, no, Other Half makes some of the best IPAs in the country, in my opinion. One of the other ones that I really love, which you can only get from them, is Treehouse.
I have not heard of that.
So I very much like those, and then like I like to get like local beers from where like my local craft beer shops. And then
There,
I like there's no alcohol that I don't like, and it's not like
yeah,
I'm getting drunk every day, but
you
the only
just
things that I
enjoy to
don't like,
drink.
yeah, the
Yeah,
only ones that I don't like are things like peach schnapps or peppermint schnapps or like
I'm sorry.
Jaeger or any of that
Oh,
kind of stuff
Jaeger's
that's meant to be like
gross.
just taken like shots of. I don't like that. I also just don't like peach flavored things in general. I also just don't like peaches. I don't
Okay,
like stone
that's
fruit.
fair. I love peach,
Um,
but that's just me. I think peach
yeah,
iced tea is my
I'm the
favorite.
weird one who doesn't like stone fruit, like peaches, apricots, plums, none of that. Not my thing.
I think apricots are gross, but I love peaches. But what was I gonna say? Shit, I'm sorry, I don't remember.
You're good.
Anyways, I was gonna ask, did you like we can wrap up in a second here, but did you have any questions for me? I should have asked you before we started the podcast so you could think of any. If you don't have any, that's fine, but did you have like anything you wanted to ask me? I don't want this to feel like an interview. I want it to feel like a conversation, so it could be like double-sided.
Yeah, yeah. So who's been your favorite interview so far?
Oh, okay. The one I was most excited for was Zachary Garen, just because he's such a big name. But I really loved I Met a Yeti. But I think the best conversation I have two. Not putting down any of the other interview guests. Everybody was great, but the two I felt the most just like I'm hanging out with a friend talking to was like the Eric from Happy Hour.
Yeah,
And last one, it was a couple days ago. Jay from he's not in Cat Company anymore, but he used to be in Cat Company.
right.
And definitely this one too. Like I think this is almost like the longest one I've had. Like I'm really enjoying talking to you, but like it feels like you can tell sometimes when the person you have on is kind of awkward or nervous to be on, and it doesn't feel natural. It feels kind of
Right.
forced in a way. Whereas like I also really enjoyed. Oh my God, hold on. Now I have to think.
Well, funny enough, Daisy and Eric are both friends of mine. And then
Yeah, I was gonna say
mentioning Jay, Kodo
Sierra.
Sound earlier, that's the guitarist from the band Makoto that they had mentioned.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I was gonna say Sierra was really cool too because she streams on Twitch, so she's
Yeah.
like familiar with talking to. I don't know if I have to pick one. I'm gonna say it's gonna be the one I do with Andy Sizek next week. That I haven't done yet. No, no, no. If I have to pick one, I will say that I'll pick Sierra out of everybody.
Sierra's a blast. I hung out with her when her and Pulses were in town in Brooklyn, um, not that long ago, and it was fun getting to like finally meet her in person because we'd been like online friends for a
Yeah,
minute.
I watch her Twitch stream a lot.
Yeah,
She's
yeah, it's
just so
always fun.
animated with how she talks.
Yeah,
Like you can hear her emotions and her facial expressions in her voice, I feel like.
right. Yeah,
Um
no, Sierra's a blast to watch on Twitch. If you want to give her a plug,
yeah, it's
I forget.
Sierra plus Ultra on
Yeah,
Twitch.
Sierra plus Ult. I was just like, I know anime reference. Why am I blanking on it right now?
I was just watching her last night. I told her you were coming on. She was like, "Hell yeah, that's so cool. I love Elders."
Yeah,
um, do you have actually a favorite band in the scene of like this? Because this is kind of like a scene of different bands and stuff that are all similar. Do you have
right.
a favorite or like a top three?
Um, so Seder is one of my favorites right now. I
Okay.
don't know if you've heard of
Yes,
them,
I
and
have.
I'm super excited. I played with them literally almost like 3 years ago to the day, in South Florida, also with Makoto. I'll be seeing them next week with the Fall of Troy, so I'm super excited for that.
Doppelganger in full,
Um,
right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
this is gonna be like my third time seeing them play Doppelganger. I
Okay.
wish they'd play Manipulator because that's my favorite album by them,
I saw
and
them
they
play
only
with
did like
Chan
two
and
festival dates.
yeah, I saw them play with Chad and Hail the Sun, and they played some songs off of
Yeah, I've seen them
Manipulator.
play some songs off Manipulator, but I
But a
want to see
whole
them
thing
played
would
in
be great.
full. Yeah. Um, so Seder is definitely up there. With Sales Ahead, I Met a Yeti are both super up there. Um, who else? Florence and Normandy. Oh, the big one that I want to give a shout out to, who funny enough named the song "Why Don't Poor People Just Buy More Money" is Sunstrife. So their bassist Adrian, who also played on the Things Amazing side of the Split, named that song.
Nice, Sunstripe.
So
I've never heard of
yeah,
them. I'll
big.
definitely check them out.
Yeah, they're another big. They're out of Orlando. They're like very like math rock, kind of shreddy kind of stuff. Really good. Highly recommend them. Yeah, no, there's just a lot of good
There's
friends.
too
Pool
many.
Kids or yeah, Pool Kids are another band that's good friends of ours that they're on tour right now with like Origami Angel, Save Face, and I want to say Mom Jeans.
Yeah. Oh my God, mom
Um,
jeans. Holy shit.
yeah, so
That takes
they're
me
on tour with
back.
them right now. Zeta is another one that I fucking love. Zeta is a band out of Venezuela who does the like Mars Volta style thing, but mixed with like screamo and like post rock.
That's what's up.
Um, Good friends of ours
I
that
just discovered Lilac Kings from.
Lilac Kings is good too. Yeah,
I actually have the guitarist coming on Monday for a podcast. I'm excited for that.
tight. Yeah,
But I'd never heard of them before, and then Eric like and Zach and I Met a Yeti I Met a Yeti. Happy Hour Strawberry Girls were like, yeah, we're going on the tour with Lilac Kings. I was like, well, I guess I'll check them out. And their new album just came out, and I'm just like, oh my god,
yeah.
this is
And
some great
Lilac Kings,
stuff.
Happy Hour, and I Met a Yeti literally just finished touring together too.
Exactly, yeah. So I was like, well,
Yeah,
I better listen to them.
yeah.
I really, really love Old Stalis, the Living
Those
Creatures
really,
album,
yeah, they were really good.
and No Place. I love Conversation Please, but No Place by A Lot Like Birds is
I have both
such a
of them
good.
right here as well. Those are
Nice.
two of my all-time favorite albums.
I have it's somewhere I'd have to find it. It's gonna take too long. But I have every member of A Lot Like Birds signed Divisi for me. I think Divisi is such an amazing album. Like it's not like the other albums. It's definitely different. But the way it has like two sides and it go oh my god, excuse me. Goes from like sweet kind of soft somber sounding music to like getting heavier and progressively heavier to the end, and then the way that it can like loop into itself is just holy shit.
So we actually
Anyways,
played their album release show for that.
really, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So their album release show happened to be in South Florida, and we were opening that show. So we played that, and it was also Matt Coates' birthday.
Oh,
That was
nice. Look at
a
that.
fun one. They ended up crashing with us that night, and it was a good time. That's probably my least favorite A Lot Like Birds album, but it's
I
still
feel like
good.
Plan B is not as good as Divisi
I like Plan
Conversation.
B
I
still.
like it, but I feel like so for me, I would say No Place, Conversation Piece, Divisi, Plan B. That's just my personal. It's
Save
not
Plan B
bad.
for Disney, and I agree.
Okay, there you go. Did you have any other questions for me? If you don't, it's totally fine.
No, I mean I feel like we've covered pretty much
Everything.
everything with each
Yeah.
other. Like we've just kind of bounced back and forth, which has been fun.
I appreciate it. So actually, I'm gonna go back and change my answer. If you say which was my favorite podcast, I really like this one because I felt like a dynamic, like back and forth. It wasn't like one sided, and I really enjoyed that. My whole thing with this podcast was to show people that like people in bands, even though they could be like famous or semi-famous or kind of famous, they're just like people like us. Like they enjoy the same things we do. They put their pants on one leg at a time. They've wiped their butts. Like they're just people, and I don't know. I feel honored to be able to actually do this and reach out to people and have them get back to me. The whole start of this was just I was really stoned and I was lying in bed and I was like, how can I make my Twitch stream more interesting? And I was like, podcast. I'm going to talk to people in the scene. I'm going to get musicians on. So it was like, I want to say fucking I don't even know, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just went down a list of all the people I knew that were in bands on Facebook and just started messaging them. Hey, you want to come on my podcast? Hey, I have this idea. Hey, blah 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 blah. And a lot of them, some of them were like, "Can you send me an example?" And I'm like, "No, I just thought of this up." But a lot of them were like, "Yeah, I'll come on." And then I start getting more and more into people, and when I like discover more music, I'll reach out to other people. But like I don't know. I'm really honored to be able to do this. And I love that I can actually have viewers. Like before we had 10, 12 viewers, or now we only
Yeah,
have 4. I get that. Like it's the end. Like people
it's
people
been
leave.
2 hours.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm so appreciative of you.
And yeah, and I really appreciate you even inviting me on, honestly.
Yeah, no, like it's cool. Like honestly, I've heard Elders before. I did not know you were in them, and then you posted something recently about Elders or about something, and I was just like, oh shit, I know this band. That's podcast material. Let me talk to him. But so if people want, oh wait, hold on. Savage Barbie has a question. She says, do you have a TikTok?
Yeah, it's at Elders Music.
Let me type that into chat at Elders Music. All right. Oh, what the fuck? My Chatterino just totally. Hold on, let me move my phone. Oh, it's trying. It's Okay, okay. Sorry. It was
There you
trying to
go.
get me to find someone in chat to tag, and it was like,
Right.
this person does not exist. Anyways, so if we want to find elders, how would we go about finding them? Like on social media or on any streaming service?
Yeah, so you can find us on all streaming services. Uh just Elders. The one with the four of us sitting, not the one with some sort of album art.
I feel like for me,
Um
I just type in Elders FL or Elders Band FL, and it
yeah, no,
comes up better.
on Bandcamp it's eldersfl.bandcamp.com. On Facebook it's facebook.com/eldersfl. On Twitter it's the only one that's or no, Twitter it's also eldersfl. Instagram is the one that's slightly different. That's elders.fl. Um, TikTok, Elders Music. Yeah, and we're on literally every streaming service that you can think of. I don't know anybody who uses Deezer or Tidal, but we're on both of them.
I've never even heard of those before.
Yeah, there are always two that pop up that it's just like, oh, do you want to be on Deezer? And it's just like, I don't know what that is, but
But
okay.
sure. Yeah. No,
Yeah, why
personally
not?
I use YouTube and Bandcamp the most. Like I used to have a Spotify, but I shared it with my ex-wife, so it kind of got skewed and I don't feel like using it anymore. And I made a new one, but I never get all my old music and it's just a thing, but yeah, for me it's YouTube. But yeah, yeah, so definitely go check out Elders. So you were saying before you have new music maybe coming out within
Yeah,
relatively soon?
so we'll have it in the pipeline for hopefully next year, realistically like mid to end of next year, in terms of getting it recorded, kind of planning everything out. Like there's always a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes on top of that. I don't know if you've heard of it from other people, but like the physical production of like music media is a nightmare right now. Like vinyl is like a year delayed. So if you're trying to get anything pressed to vinyl, you're just going to delay your album by a year. So we'll see. Maybe
Oof.
we'll put out like a single or two like early to mid next year to kind of lead into stuff that goes on further down the line, but we'll see. Nothing is set in stone as of yet.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I just want you to stick around for just a minute because I like to get some feedback. I have like another question for you off stream. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. This was definitely a great experience. I love talking to you. So really quick, I feel like I make a lot of friends doing this because it's not like I feel like some podcasts are just like question answer, question answer, question answer, and this is more like fluid. Like, hey, what do you think about this? Oh, cool. What do you think about this? Oh, blah blah blah. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But yeah. So everybody definitely go check out Elders. I always say I'm gonna link their social medias in my YouTube channel and my YouTube videos, and then when I upload the video, I'm either drunk or just forget, and I never do. But I'll try to go back and fix it. But yeah, yeah. Check out Elders. CR1, great song. Boy George Lopez, holy shit, great song. Thank you everybody for showing up. I appreciate all your support, and yeah, let's go ahead and end it. So we're
Yeah.
gonna
Thank you
end
so
the
much for having
stream.
me on.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for being here. So we're gonna end the stream in